Chapter 590. 1 trillion going once. Lu Yanqing announced. Ji Wucheng's face darkened as he clenched his fist. However, he was embarrassed by his storage ring and did not dare to lower the price. He only had slightly more than 900 billion in total. It was not more than 1 trillion. The Arch-Emperor was already slightly inferior to Ji Wucheng. As for Ling Chongfeng, he did not have 1 trillion even after adding up Mo Xianxian's glory bot. However, Mo Xianxian was looking at Zhang Qingxue, who was beside Lin Yu. She was serving Lin Yu attentively. At the same time, Lin Yu looked like he was enjoying himself. If he's a lecher, then things will be easy. Mo Xianxian's jade-like hands lightly brushed the hair on her temples. She thought that she had thought of a good idea. 9 luminaries golden pill, 1 trillion going twice. Everyone was silent. 9 luminaries golden pill, 1 trillion going thrice. Lu Yanqing knew that this price was not bad. The chances of someone else bidding were very low. Moreover, the 3 most powerful people had chosen to remain silent. Who else could be Lin Yu's match? Deal. Congratulations, young Master Qin Wunyan. Lu Yanqing smiled faintly. She waved her hand and the female disciple walked forward with the brocade box. The box emitted the dazzling radiance of the 9 luminaries golden pill. This radiance attracted everyone's attention. When the beautiful female disciple arrived in front of Lin Yu, a beam of light shot up into the sky from his storage ring. 1 trillion! Only 1 trillion glory bot would have such a terrifying radiant. This kid is not simple. He actually has so many glory bot? Where did he come from? The Tsangling Dao world is a place where the 100 dynasties are in conflict. The people there usually do not interact with the other Dao worlds. I did not expect such a powerful person to appear there. Thank you, young master. The female disciple counted the 1 trillion glory bot. After confirming that the amount was correct, she bowed and winked at Lin Yu. At this time, Lin Yu was sure that he had indeed slept with her, pretending to be a rich second-generation heir. This is the 9 luminaries golden pill. Young master, please keep it. The female disciple stretched out her hand, and when Lin Yu took it, he was gently provoked by her jade-like hand. Weak and delicate, the women of the glazed moon treading tower clearly had their own way of subduing men. Young master, if you have time in the future, you can come and find me often. The female disciple chuckled sweetly. Lin Yu's current appearance was still that of General Yang in the vast Moon Empire. The female disciple only felt that Lin Yu was handsome and rich. She didn't need any tactful means and directly invited Lin Yu. Miss, please respect yourself. Zhang Qingxue was the closest to Lin Yu, so she naturally heard the female disciple's words clearly. I can review it when I have time. Lin Yu smiled casually. Master. Zhang Qingxue was so angry that her body bulged. On the other hand, the female disciple in front of him was stunned. Revisiting, could it be that this man had already, she thought for a while, but couldn't remember which one it was. Then I'll wait for young master's arrival. The female disciple knew that it wasn't appropriate for her to say more, so she stood up. Tower master, I've received the dazzling bait. Very good. Lu Yanqing nodded. She was worried that Lin Yu might have made a random bid. Now that Lin Yu could take out 1 trillion, it was naturally the best. It would save the moon treading tower from doing it personally. Today's treasure appraisal is over. Tomorrow will be the second round of the Flower Appreciation Festival, the martial arts competition. Everyone must be tired, so please rest for the night. We'll continue tomorrow. Lu Yanqing raised her hand and said. After that, the sects and forces in the square greeted each other and left one after another. Lin Yu kept the 9 dazzling golden pill and stood up. The 10 great supremes on him prepared to leave at the same time. Young master, please wait. Lu Yanqing landed and appeared in front of Lin Yu. She was wearing an exquisite Taoist robe, and her hair was casually scattered behind her back. Her appearance was comparable to the female disciple just now. On the contrary, Lu Yanqing had the confidence of a mature woman. That was the aura that she had developed after being in a high position for a long time. What's the matter? Seeing that she was stopping him, Lin Yu thought to himself, could it be that I've been recognized? Behind Lu Yanqing, the third tower master, Hong Binglu, was sizing up Lin Yu. Third tower master, you seem to have some thoughts about me? Lin Yu curled his lips. Although he was worried that he would be recognized, he still looked calm and composed. No one could tell that there was anything wrong with him. Young master, you're right. I feel that you look like someone. I wonder if you recognize us? Hong Binglu laughed. Her voice was naturally not as pleasant as Lu Yanqing's, and it sounded like an old cow snoring. This person was a tough woman, and Lin Yu didn't like her at all. How can I not recognize the third tower master and second tower master of the glazed moon treading tower? Lin Yu smiled disdainfully. His tone seemed to be saying that this was a stupid question. When Hong Binglu wanted to ask again, Lin Yu had already walked toward Lu Yanqing. I like to talk to beautiful women. Moreover, I will answer their questions. Second tower master, do you have any questions for me? Lin Yu curled his lips and spoke nonchalantly. You. Hong Binglu was furious. Was he saying that she was not beautiful? Looking at Lin Yu, she realized that he was half a head taller than Lu Yanqing. Even with her tall figure, she had to look up slightly to meet Lin Yu's gaze when the two of them got closer. Since young master does not wish to answer, we will not ask further, Lu Yanqing said with a faint smile. She did not intend to argue with Lin Yu. Instead, she bowed and thanked him. We will kindly accept your 1 trillion glory bot. If I can make a beauty smile, so what if it is 1 trillion glory bot? Lin Yu looked frivolous. It seemed that he even dared to tease the second tower master of the glazed moon treading tower. When the crowd saw this, they felt that Lin Yu was courting death. On the other hand, Lu Yanqing looked surprised. This person's demeanor was different from that of those lecherous men. Lu Yanqing felt that under Lin Yu's gaze, she felt a kind of favor from a superior. Her instincts told her that if she were to reject Lin Yu, she would not know what was good for her. Young master, I am really tempted by your words. Lu Yanqing rarely said such words. However, when she was facing Lin Yu, she blurted it out subconsciously. Even Hong Binglu, who was at the side, was stunned. Didn't she say that she wanted to test this lad to see if he was the thief from last night? Why were the two of them flirting? Lin Yu smiled. If the second tower master does not have any other questions, I will take my leave. He reminded her again. Oh yes, I know that the glazed moon treading tower does not guarantee anything other than the Flower Appreciation Festival. If people from other forces touch me, Lu Yanqing thought that Lin Yu wanted her to protect him. However, Lin Yu said, I hope that the glazed moon treading tower will not interfere. Chapter 591. Young master, aren't you worried about them? When Lu Yanqing saw that Lin Yu was bold and handsome, she couldn't help but remind him, in this world, you can't dominate just because you have the glory bait. You also need to have combat power and background. Only when all these factors are added together can you determine a person's strength. She didn't say it explicitly, but everyone knew that Lin Yu had offended someone today. Ling Chongfeng of the Tianhun sect was slapped in the face by Zhang Qingshue's bid of 50 billion. Ji Wuchang of the Seven Demons Hall of the Netherworld's final bid was suppressed by Lin Yu. The 9 luminaries' golden pill was gone just like that. These two would definitely deal with Lin Yu. As for the Archemperor of the Earthly Fire Heaven Burning Pavilion, he didn't clash with Lin Yu. Perhaps he was still observing. The Moonstep Tower only needs to stay out of this. Qin Wunyan has his own plans for the rest. After saying that, Lin Yu took his leave. Senior sister, seeing Lin Yu leave the square, Hong Binglu went up and whispered, Ji Wuchang is following him. Since that kid is so confident, let him go. Lu Yanqing's bright red lips curled up. Little thing, you're quite bold. No one knew if she was referring to not giving face to Ji Wuchang or Lin Yu's frivolity towards her. Should we send someone to check it out? No need. The Moonstep Tower doesn't know anything about the conflicts of other sections. I understand. After leaving the square of the Moonstep Tower, Lin Yu and the rest went back to their residence. After a while, the disciples of the Moonstep Tower were no longer behind them. This place was no longer under the watchful eyes of the Moonstep Tower. Emissary, those people seem to be waiting for us. The 10 Supremes noticed that there were people blocking their way. And there were many spectators behind them. Lin Yu smiled disapprovingly. He was well aware of why these people were blocking his way. They're finally here. A cold voice sounded in front of Lin Yu. It was Ji Wuchang of the Seven Fiends Hall of the Netherworld. Behind him were the people from the Seven Fiends Hall of the Netherworld, as well as the Archemperor, Ling Chongfeng, and Mo Xianxian. Master, should we go in another direction? Zhang Qingxue nervously grabbed Lin Yu's sleeve when she saw the group of ferocious people blocking their way. Master is a reasonable person. It's all right. Lin Yu smiled faintly. His gaze landed on their hands. It was good that they all had storage rings. Since he had snatched away the Navagraha golden pill in front of everyone, he had already expected that it would be snatched away. An ordinary man's wealth is his own ruin. It seemed reasonable, but in fact it was the most unreasonable. In this world, there was no reason to speak of. Qin Wunyan, you've made us wait. Do you know why we're here? The corners of Ji Wuchang's mouth curled up as he stared at Lin Yu as if he was looking at a dead man. His tongue swept past his lips, and his half-black, half-white face was filled with a strange expression. He knew that before Lin Yu had left, he had spoken to Lu Yanqing. Ji Wuchang didn't even need to guess to know that Bai Xiaochun had been looking for reinforcements. As of this moment, Lin Yu was the only one with him. Not a single person from the Moonlight Illumination Pavilion could be seen. That could only mean that Ji Wuchang's plan to seek reinforcements had been a mistake. Neither Lu Yanqing nor Hong Binglu from the Moonlight Illumination Pavilion paid any attention to him. Lin Yu stopped in place. Instead of responding to Ji Wuchang's question, he looked over at the group of people behind him. The heaven-burning pavilion of earthly fire. People from the Heavenly Soul sect. Just like Ji Wuchang, were you waiting for me? His lips curled into a faint smile, and his voice was calm and composed, as if he weren't nervous at all about being targeted by powerful experts. Listen up. The Archemperor and Ling Chongfeng exchanged a glance, then chuckled coldly. Sire, you have precious treasures on you, the Archemperor said. We were just curious to see what the Navagraha Golden Pill and the 3 Lives Celestial Pearl were like. Lin Yu didn't hold back. If you know what's good for you, kid, hand over the Navagraha Golden Pill and 3 Lives Celestial Pearl. Perhaps we'll spare your life. Zhang Qingxue and the 10 Paragons' expressions turned grim. It seems today's battle is unavoidable. A bunch of reckless fools. The 10 Paragons were the emperors of 100 dynasties. How could they possibly accept such humiliation? Don't tell me you only want my Navagraha Golden Pill and 3 Lives Celestial Pearl, and not my obsidian bot? Lin Yu smiled and took off his ring of holding. It's all here. If you want it, come and get it. This scene attracted everyone's attention. That kid actually has obsidian bot? How is he so rich? Can't the wealth of our sex compare to his? The Navagraha Golden Pill, which could increase the chances of an Earth Supreme breaking through to the Sky Supreme level. The 3 Lives Celestial Pearl, which contained the insights of the 3 sect masters over 1,000 years. And then there was Lin Yu's obsidian bot. And now Lin Yu was toying with it. Especially when he said, "If you want it, come and get it." It was a temptation and a provocation. Is this kid tricking us? Ji Wuchang stared at Lin Yu warily. He couldn't see through Lin Yu's divine will, but the cultivation he displayed was only at the first level of the laws. Ji Wuchang sized up Zhang Qingxue and the 10 Paragons again. Zhang Qingxue's cultivation was at the second level of the laws, and the 10 Paragons only had the aura of the laws. Kid, it seems like you want to die. Ji Wucheng sneered. With your lineup, an Earth Supreme is enough to suppress you. How dare you be so arrogant? Lin Yu ignored him, and there was no nervousness on his face. Seeing this, the more Ji Wucheng thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong. But Lin Yu didn't want to waste time on him. Raising his foot, he actually took the storage ring that everyone was chasing after like a flock of ducks and spun it on his fingertips as he walked towards the crowd alone. There, the two groups of people from the earthly fire-burning pavilion and the Tianhun sect stared at the storage ring so hard that their eyeballs almost fell out. This kid is too arrogant. We have to teach him a lesson. Everyone knows that treasures can't be shown in front of others, but does this kid think we're dead? I can't take it anymore. Snatch it. Ji Wucheng was furious. The humiliation of being suppressed by Lin Yu with wealth outside the square burst out at this moment. Leave no one alive. Yes. The seven fiends Hall of the Netherworld attacked at the same time and rushed toward Lin Yu. Among them, only Ji Wucheng was an Earth Supreme, and the others were all experts of the laws. However, Lin Yu was still walking leisurely and didn't even look at them. Kill Qin Wunyan first and take his storage ring. We can kill the others slowly. That stinky girl is pretty enough. Don't kill her later. Leave her alive for us brothers to have some fun. Hall Master should have fun first. After Hall Master Wucheng enjoys it, it will be our turn. It's fine. You guys go first. The people from the Seven Fiends Hall of the Netherworld had ferocious eyes and were extremely fast. In an instant, they were already in front of Lin Yu. However, Lin Yu still didn't stop and just said, Number 9. Chapter 592. But as soon as his voice rang out, the figure behind him that Lin Yu had given the name Number 9 suddenly disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Lin Yu. He raised his hands and directly pressed down on the two people closest to Lin Yu from the Seven Fiends Hall. One head in each hand directly pressed down. The two people had never seen such speed and tyrannical strength. His original movement technique suddenly lost its balance. In a situation where he couldn't react at all, he was already smashed down by that hand. Rumble! Two large craters appeared on the ground, and blood splattered. So strong! Two first-layered heavens of the laws were actually killed in an instant. Lin Yu didn't even look at the two corpses on the ground as he slowly walked past. You have some skills. Ji Wucheng's eyes were scarlet. He hid behind the rest of the Seven Fiends Hall and suddenly attacked Lin Yu. Number 8. However, Lin Yu's voice rang out again. In an instant, one of the 10 Supremes attacked again, and in the blink of an eye, he was already beside Lin Yu. Ji Wucheng's palm struck toward Lin Yu. The palm force stirred up a strong wind, but before it could hit Lin Yu, it was blocked halfway. It was also a palm force, and it met Ji Wucheng's palm. Bang bang bang! The two Supremes' wills collided and rocks flew everywhere. Everyone within a radius of several hundred feet felt the aftershocks of the battle. The weaker first-layered heavens of the laws were injured by the aftershocks because they were too close, and some even spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Ji Wucheng's eyes widened. He couldn't be wrong. Impossible, this person's battle strength is actually at the Earth Supreme level. Lin Yu had already passed by him, and Ji Wucheng knew that he couldn't continue fighting. Otherwise, behind him, the Archemperor and Ling Chongfeng would be one step ahead of him and snatch away the fat sheep in their hands. Stay here for me. Ji Wucheng's 5 fingers formed a claw and grabbed at Lin Yu. In an instant, black and white energy burst out from his palm. Lin Yu didn't care at all, and he didn't even make a move to look back. Number 7. Another Supreme Being attacked, and his fist force was mixed with a tyrannical Supreme Being will. He and Number 8 each took one side, and Ji Wucheng immediately sensed a life-and-death crisis. While he attacked with all his strength, he also tried to use the momentum to retreat, but the two Supreme Beings noticed him first. Since you offended the emissary, leave your life. Bang! Number 7 punched Ji Wuchang's ribs. After a crack, Ji Wuchang felt the pain of his body being torn apart. Then, he vomited a mouthful of blood. However, his face was covered his face. That was number 8's palm, which was aimed at his face. Damn it! I'm one of the 7 hall masters of the Netherworld's 7 Fiends Hall. Ji Wuchang Ji's eyes. Number 8's didn't stop. Supreme of 2, they were reasonable was the 9 was they to them. They would to them, to SSS a S's a boom. The palm hit the center of Ji Wuchang's eyebrows. He couldn't resist, because number 7 and number 9 had restrained his movement. The Supreme Being will penetrated Ji Wuchang's head. Ji Wuchang's body exploded. Number 8 grabbed him and threw him far away. As for Lin Yu, at this moment, his 5 fingers formed a claw and sucked Ji Wuchang's storage ring. His name was Yu, and one of his mantras was to kill and plunder. Lin Yu immediately put the storage ring in his hand, and he put his own storage ring back on his finger. The rest of the 7 evil spirits were also killed by the 3 supreme beings at this moment. In front of him, those from the earthly fire-burning pavilion and the heavenly soul sect who wanted to attack Lin Yu all stopped at this moment. This kid is not right. He also has a supreme being among his people. And there's more than one. We can't fight or we'll end up like the 7 evil spirit. There's more to this kid than meets the eye. From the very beginning, they had been toying with Lin Yu, and had been preparing to attack him and take his storage ring. Until now, these people were all extremely afraid. Even when Lin Yu approached step by step, they instinctively took a few steps back out of fear. Does anyone else want my storage ring? Lin Yu said calmly. Apparently, the corpses of the 7 evil spirits didn't mean anything to him at all. And yet, the person he had just killed was Ji Wuchang. Clasping hands, the Archemperor said, "You've got guts, sire. We were in the wrong today. The earthly fire-burning pavilion will take our leave now." At this point, he was on full alert, worried that Lin Yu's people would suddenly attack him. Seeing that Lin Yu wasn't saying anything, the Archemperor gave a meaningful glance, and the earthly fire-burning pavilion members prepared to leave. "You're leaving just like that?" Qin Wunyan said. "If I let you off the hook just like that, then how am I supposed to put my name?" Lin Yu chuckled. Although his voice wasn't very loud, it was like a thunderclap that exploded in the minds of the earthly fire-burning pavilion members. By the time the words left his mouth, the 10 paragons and Zhang Qingxue had finished dealing with the 7 evil spirits, and were now standing in front of Lin Yu. Of course, that included number 7, number 8, and number 9. As of this moment, those 3 were the most intimidating. After all, they were the ones who had killed Ji Wuchang. "Your Excellency, what will it take for us to drop this matter?" The Archemperor swallowed nervously, not daring to act rashly in front of Lin Yu, especially when he knew that Ji Wuchang's cultivation was above his, as he had reached the realm of a 3-star earthly sovereign. And yet, even someone like that couldn't last more than a few moves against these 3. In the end, the will of a paragon was infused into him, and he exploded. 300 meters away, the black smoke from Ji Wuchang's explosion was still drifting in the air. If a 3-star Earth Sovereign wasn't strong enough, then how could a 2-star Earth Sovereign like the Archemperor possibly dare to do anything? "I'm a reasonable person," Yang Qi said. "You wanted to rob me, and now that you've failed, I'm going to give you an eye for an eye." Lin Yu didn't say anything, but instead, the 10 paragons looked over at the rings of holding of the earthly fire-burning pavilion members. You'd better not push things too far," the Archemperor said through gritted teeth. "Are you trying to rob us? Did I not make myself clear enough?" Lin Yu suddenly realized that he had made a mistake. Behind him, number 8 attacked again, killing one of the earthly fire-burning pavilion disciples with a single fist strike. He moved with such speed and decisiveness that the Archemperor didn't even dare to say anything. Only now did he realize that he had kicked an iron plate. These people were definitely among the most powerful in terms of battle prowess present. Unfortunately, they had been keeping a low profile, and had even used certain methods to conceal the level of their cultivation bases. In addition, Lin Yu's offer of 1 trillion yuan made them greedy, which led to the robbery at this moment. Take off your rings of holding. Gritting his teeth, the Arch-Emperor finally relented. All of the earthly fire-burning pavilion disciples removed their rings of holding. Can we leave now? Chapter 593. Can we leave now? The Arch-Emperor asked, trembling with fear. No one could have imagined that the 3 great powers who had come to participate in the Flower Appreciation Festival would end up like meat on a chopping board. Lin Yu was a knife on the chopping board that could fall at any moment. Of course. Lin Yu smiled faintly. The people from the Earthly Flame Heaven-Burning Pavilion nodded in relief. Thank you, young Master Qin. Farewell. The people from the Earthly Flame Heaven-Burning Pavilion left, leaving behind only the people from the Heavenly Soul sect. Ling Chongfeng and Mo Xianxian exchanged glances and prepared to leave without saying a word. It just so happened that the people from the Earthly Flame Heaven-Burning Pavilion were also leaving. If they blended into the crowd, perhaps Lin Yu wouldn't be suspicious. Unfortunately, they hadn't gone far when they heard the youth's voice behind them. Did I give you permission to leave? Lin Yu's calm voice rang out. It wasn't loud, but to the people from the Heavenly Soul sect, it was like a soul-snatching voice from hell. That Ling Chongfeng's face twitched. After a moment of hesitation, he slowly turned around. Take it off, I'll take it off right now. He gritted his teeth and looked at number 7, number 8, and number 9 beside Lin Yu without any hesitation. Without hesitation, he took off his ring of holding. Lin Yu was stunned. Before he could say anything, the people from the Heavenly Soul sect had already presented their rings of holding to him. Well, can we go now? Ling Chongfeng knew that he was no match for Lin Yu, so he didn't dare to act rashly. If he lost his money, the Heavenly Soul sect would give him more. But he only had 1 life. Let's go. Lin Yu put away the rings of holding, not even looking at them. Master, you've struck gold this time. Zhang Qingxue watched the people from the Heavenly Soul sect and the Earthly Flame Heaven-Burning Pavilion flee, and couldn't help but burst into laughter. However, the 10 Supremes were worried. Emissary, won't we anger the people from the great sects by doing this? The strongest of the 10 Supremes couldn't help but ask. Don't you think we're doing something unreasonable? Lin Yu asked. Hearing this, the 10 great Supremes all fell silent. These people had come to snatch their 9 luminaries' golden pills and 3 lives' colored glass bead. If Lin Yu and his group were not so strong today, they would have been able to snatch their 9 luminaries' golden pills and 3 lives' colored glass bead. Then they would be the ones being bullied, and their end would be even worse. Lin Yu only wanted them to hand over their storage rings. He didn't really hurt them. This was already considered merciful. I was too soft-hearted. The leading Supreme Being cupped his fists and apologized. The young man in front of him just smiled faintly and didn't say anything. However, this utmost exalted sensed something reserved. It was an introverted aura that did not belong to his age. Lin Yu looked like he was only 15 or 16 years old, but no matter what he did, it was always within his own logic. Such a person was both outstanding and powerful. It would be difficult for him not to achieve great things. They returned to their residence. Along the way, no one dared to stop Lin Yu. Master, let me help you wash up. Zhang Qingxue served Lin Yu. In the area outside the main city of the Glazed Moon Stepping Tower, there were many inns for itinerant cultivators who came and went to trade glory bot. And Lin Yu and the others who came to participate in the Flower Appreciation Festival naturally could only stay here. After all, the Glazed Moon Stepping Tower was famous for being stingy and hoarding money. They were not even willing to provide areas such as a guest hall. At this moment, in another inn, it had been booked by the Tianhun sect. Sir, You have to pay the accommodation fee for booking the entire place, right? The innkeeper stammered, afraid of angering this group of people from large sections. But they were running a small business. Today, the Tianhun sect people couldn't pay the reservation fee, and other guests couldn't enter. Wouldn't the inn suffer a huge loss? Damn it, I said I'll pay in a few days. No money today means no money, don't you understand? Ling Chongfeng slammed his palm on the table, and the table in front of him immediately split into pieces. He gritted his teeth. If it weren't for Qin Wunyan, how could I not even pay this little bit of glory bot? Then you must pay in a few days. The innkeeper swallowed his saliva. Got it, get out of here. Ling Chongfeng's angry voice came again. Looking at the broken table on the ground, the innkeeper reminded, this table, you have to pay 30 glory bot. After saying that, before Ling Chongfeng could get angry, the innkeeper had already hurried away. Junior sister, what do you think we should do about this? Ling Chongfeng glanced at Emo Xianxian, who had been silent all this while. Didn't this woman usually have a lot of ideas? Why didn't she have any ideas when facing Qin Wunyan today? Senior brother, Qin Wunyan is too powerful. You saw it too. Today, even Ji Wuchang was in his hands. Emo Xianxian recalled the scene where Lin Yu dealt with the 7 demons Hall of the Netherworld and felt a little scared. Qin Wunyan didn't even blink his eyes. His subordinates had already killed everyone from the 7 demons Hall of the Netherworld. I don't believe that a stinky little brother with an unknown background dares to be so arrogant. Ling Chongfeng didn't believe it. Send a message back to the Tianhun sect. I want to call for reinforcements. Senior brother, don't worry. Emo Xianxian shook her head helplessly. This is the Glazed Moon Stepping Tower's territory. If we were to allow the Tianhun sect to send reinforcements here, I'm afraid that before we can deal with Qin Wunyan, we would have already offended the Glazed Moon Stepping Tower. She added, although the 3 tower masters of the Glazed Moon Stepping Tower are all women, they are definitely not easy to deal with. Then what do you think we should do? Ling Chongfeng was so angry that his face turned red. Your senior brother is the young master of the Tianhun sect. How can I swallow this anger when all my dazzling bot was stolen by someone? Weren't you the one who wanted to rob others first? Now that you've suffered a double loss, who else can you blame? Emo Xianxian mocked in her heart, but a dimple appeared on her beautiful face. I'll go test out that Qin Wunyan first and see what kind of background he has. You! Ling Chongfeng sized Emo Xianxian up. Junior sister, could it be that you want to use a honey trap? Senior brother, what nonsense are you talking about? Do I look like I'm the same as those sluts? Emo Xianxian's face wrinkled in grievance. That's true. Ling Chongfeng smiled faintly. That's true. If junior sister knew how to use a honey trap, the first person you would have used it on would have been me, right? He stood up and walked to Emo Xianxian's side, wanting to hold Emo Xianxian's hand. But Emo Xianxian twisted his hand away. Senior brother, please conduct yourself with dignity. Emo Xianxian's tone was polite, but she couldn't hide the disgust on her face. If junior sister knows how to use a honey trap, remember to use it on senior brother. Ling Chongfeng pointed out and continued, junior sister should know that I'm the future head of the Tianhun sect. Father will hand the Tianhun sect to me sooner or later. He came closer again, as if afraid that Emo Xianxian couldn't hear him. He emphasized every word, no one can snatch away your position as senior brother. Emo Xianxian's expression changed slightly, but she smiled. I'll go find Qin Wunyan first. Chapter 594. Junior sister, if you want to obtain more, you must first obtain senior brother's favor. Otherwise, there might not be a place for you in the Tianhun sect. Ling Chongfeng added as the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. He knew his junior sister's ambition. She wouldn't be willing to submit to others. Unfortunately, even though Ling Chongfeng knew her thoughts, she still rejected him many times. This made Ling Chongfeng's desire to obtain her even more intense. Junior sister, it's good for you to take a look at Qin Wunyan's background. If there's a chance, you can help senior brother take back the 9 luminaries golden pill. Ling Chongfeng didn't say anything else. He began to adjust his breathing. Today, he was frightened by Lin Yu. His cultivation was a little chaotic. After leaving the inn, Mo Xianxian's gaze was gloomy. There were even traces of tears in her eyes. If you weren't the son of the sect leader, I would have killed you just now. Mo Xianxian clenched her fists so tightly that her nails dug into her flesh. However, she didn't care at all. She was still so angry that she gnashed her teeth. Wait until I get the 9 luminaries golden pill and become a heavenly sovereign. At that time, I won't need to care about your faces. She walked towards Lin Yu's direction. When she arrived at Lin Yu's residence, she saw the 10 great sovereigns at the bottom floor of the inn. Zhang Qingxue and Lin Yu were nowhere to be seen. I'm Mo Xianxian of the Tianhun sect. I request to see young Master Qin Wunyan. Mo Xianxian cupped her fists and spoke. Her hot figure immediately attracted the attention of the 10 great sovereigns. However, they were more curious about why this person who just went against Lin Yu would pay them a visit. The envoy is cultivating. Miss Mo, what brings you here? The leader of the 10 great sovereigns asked coldly. When this person walked over, Mo Xianxian felt a chill run down her spine. Her cultivation was also at the Earth Sovereign level, but she didn't know why. When facing this group of people who seemed to only be in the law realm, she felt an instinctive sense of oppression. This was especially so for the person who spoke. Mo Xianxian had a feeling that if this person were to fight with her, she would be the one to fight. With her cultivation, she probably wouldn't be able to last the time it took to brew a cup of tea. It was not just the person who spoke, but the other 9 as well. The true strength of these 10 people was definitely not as simple as the aura of the law realm that they displayed. Mo Xianxian was even more curious about Lin Yu. What was the background of this fellow? He was actually able to make these 10 unfathomable experts willingly become his followers? This concubine has an important matter to discuss with young master. Please inform him. Suppressing the shock in her heart, Mo Xianxian braced herself and said. The leader of the heavenly sovereigns hesitated for a moment before going up to the 2nd floor of the inn. He did not knock on the door because Lin Yu did not like to be disturbed. After asking a few questions outside the door, the Heavenly Supreme came down and said, Miss Mo, please go back. The young master is cultivating and will not see any guests for 2 hours. 2 hours, Mo Xianxian frowned. He seemed to have vaguely understood the other party's intention. Then I'll wait here for him. Mo Xianxian smiled as he sat down at an empty table. Young master only said that he would be out in 2 hours, but it might not be only 2 hours. Miss, please go back. The Heavenly Supreme reminded her once again. It's fine. Since I'm here, I have to show my sincerity. I'm willing to wait here for young Master Qin. Mo Xianxian thought in her heart. To achieve great things, one must first endure what others cannot endure. If she were to back out now, would she still be called Mo Xianxian? Seeing how determined she was, the Heavenly Supreme did not say anything else. The envoy's luck with women is really strong. First, there's a little princess. Now, there's the #1 beauty of the Heavenly Soul sect. Isn't that so? I saw that Zhang Wuliang's wife had an indescribable feeling for the envoy. The envoy is a young genius. He's a person with great wisdom and strategy. There are very few women who would not like him. Sigh, who hasn't been young before? The 10 sovereigns gossip. Their words were filled with envy for Lin Yu. On the 2nd floor of the inn, Lin Yu had just finished harmonizing the laws of nature with Zhang Qingxue. He let go of Zhang Qingxue, who lay down weakly. Master is getting more and more powerful. Zhang Qingxue said weakly. Qingxue also needs to improve. Otherwise, Qingxue won't be able to cultivate with Master soon. It will be soon. Lin Yu smiled faintly. Seeing Zhang Qingxue's current state, he judged, well, the next cultivation will wait until you reach the 3rd level of the laws. Thank you, Master. Zhang Qingxue got up and thanked him. Although Lin Yu was understanding, there was a hint of regret in Zhang Qingxue's eyes. However, there was a hint of pity in Zhang Qingxue's eyes. This meant that she might not be able to cultivate and harmonize the laws of nature with her master for a very long time. Although the path of martial arts is like rowing a boat against the current, if you don't advance, you will fall behind. You also need to know the principle of haste makes waste. Lin Yu still gave her a few words of advice. Sometimes, the more anxious you are, the slower your progress will be. On the contrary, people who progress step by step will progress faster. Qingxue understands. Lin Yu did not speak anymore. Instead, he looked down at the inn. Still hasn't changed at all. With a faint smile, Lin Yu's gaze could not help but recall the few times he had fun with Mo Xianxian when he was trapped for 100,000 years. At that time, he knew that this woman was the same as Qingqing. She had a kind of ambition. However, Qingqing's fate was better than hers. At least when Qingqing was in the Emperor's sect, no one could surpass her. However, Mo Xianxian was different. Lin Yu knew that her ability was above Ling Chongfeng's. Unfortunately, she went to the wrong sect. The sect master of the Tianhun sect attached great importance to bloodlines. No matter how much of a playboy Ling Chongfeng was, the future of the Tianhun sect would still be in his hands. As for others, no matter how hard they worked, it would be a waste of effort. Lin Yu once again sank into cultivation. At the same time, he realized that Hong Binglu and Lu Yanqing's probing today might have caused these two women to suspect him. Well, if necessary, I'll just lay my cards on the table and snatch her. Thinking of this, Lin Yu took out the Navagraha golden pill. Unfortunately, it's a flawed golden pill. He shook his head helplessly. No wonder the women of the glazed moon stepping tower were so generous to hand over the Navagraha golden pill. When the Navagraha golden pill appeared in the square, Lin Yu saw the flaw in the golden pill. However, it was more reasonable for it to be flawed. Otherwise, with the miraculous effects of the Navagraha golden pill, Hong Binglu and Lu Yanqing would have already fought to break through to the heavenly sovereign level. Why would they take it out to auction? Although it's flawed, there's a way to remedy it. Lin Yu sized up the Navagraha golden pill. It seems that there's a problem with one of the 9 sovereign will during the process of refining the pill. He pondered. Logically speaking, the Navagraha golden pill was refined from the 9 sovereign wills. Any sovereign will would have to be balanced with the others. However, there were too many accidents during the process of refining the pill. It was almost impossible to find the cause now. I'll have to test it one by one to know. After saying that, Lin Yu did not think much and continued to cultivate. In the blink of an eye 2 hours passed. Below the inn, Mo Xianxian waited for 2 hours, but Lin Yu did not appear. She stood up and pursed her lips. Can you send another message? Chapter 595. We have no right to interfere with young master's matters. If Miss isn't willing to wait, you can leave now. The heavenly sovereign coldly said. Naturally, he didn't want to help Mo Xianxian. Hearing this, Mo Xianxian's eyes flashed with disappointment. She wanted to leave, but she wasn't willing to. In the end, she sat down again. Thinking of the grievances she received from Ling Chongfeng, and now being rejected by Lin Yu, Mo Xianxian's heart was filled with mixed feelings. She ordered the inn to bring out a few jars of wine. The 10 Supremes glanced over, wondering if this woman wanted to get drunk. By the time they looked over, Mo Xianxian had already started drinking by herself. Another 4 hours passed. The 10 Supremes had already returned to their rooms. While Mo Xianxian was drunk, she saw the door to Lin Yu's room open. Qin Wunyan, you've finally come out. She originally thought that Lin Yu had come out, but instead, she saw a pure and innocent girl leaving his room. Emo Xianxian became even more depressed. So it's because you're immersed in your tenderness that you don't want to see me? She couldn't help but mock herself. Zhang Qingxue closed the door to Lin Yu's room. She glanced at the young girl whose face was red from the alcohol. Master isn't seeing any guests today, Zhang Qingxue said. She remembered Lin Yu's instructions and didn't say anything else. She returned to her room. She closed the door. The sky gradually darkened. In the entire inn, only Emo Xianxian was left. He's not seeing any guests? She coldly laughed. She originally thought that she could find an opportunity to leave the Tianhun sect, but she didn't expect that she couldn't even see Lin Yu's face. Emo Xianxian thought about it, but she was still unwilling. Especially when she thought of Ling Chongfeng's disgusting face, she didn't want to return to the inn. While thinking, Emo Xianxian gritted her teeth and walked up to the second floor of the inn. She stood outside Lin Yu's room. "Young master, do you know why I'm here?" Emo Xianxian's footsteps were already staggering. After a long time, Lin Yu's leisurely voice came from inside. "It's not wine that intoxicates but oneself. Miss, you have something on your mind, but you and I don't walk the same path. I don't know whether or not I should listen to you, so I might as well not see you." "It's not the wine that gets you drunk, but you get yourself drunk," Emo Xianxian repeated Lin Yu's words. That's right, with her current cultivation, if she didn't want to get drunk, no amount of wine would make her drunk. At this moment, she was just trying to get drunk. Lin Yu's words pierced deeply into her heart. Emo Xianxian's bright eyes flashed with a subtle emotion. Her dark red lips parted slightly as she spoke. Who would have thought that not only does young master have such a strong background, your literary talent is also exceptional. There was still no sound from inside. Emo Xianxian continued in a self-mocking tone, "Young master, am I so unbearable to meet you?" Lin Yu stayed in his room and studied the 9 luminaries' golden pill on his own. He already had a good understanding of the flaws of the golden pill. He casually replied, "Miss is the #1 beauty of the Tianhun school, and you're drunk right now." Qin Wunyan isn't a man who can't sit still. Before he finished speaking, the door was forcefully opened. Lin Yu's voice lingered in the air, but Emo Xianxian had already closed the door. Her beautiful eyes stared fixedly at Lin Yu, who was sitting by the table. "Even though I delivered myself to your door, young master was still indifferent. You're clearly a man who can't sit still." That nonchalant look was deeply imprinted in Emo Xianxian's mind. Taking advantage of her drunkenness, she walked over. Her slightly heated voice once again entered Lin Yu's ears. "This concubine doesn't want to lie to young master, but does young master know why I'm here?" Lin Yu glanced at Emo Xianxian's current appearance and felt that there was more sincerity in her eyes. He played with the 9 luminaries' golden pill in his hand and handed it over to Emo Xianxian. "Is it because of this?" Lin Yu's words and the 9 luminaries' golden pill simultaneously provoked Emo Xianxian. The latter's heartbeat suddenly sped up. She let out a long sigh. While comforting herself, she also suppressed the thought of snatching the 9 luminaries' golden pill away. After all, Emo Xianxian still remembered that the last person who wanted to snatch Lin Yu's storage ring, that Ji Wuchang, had died without a complete corpse. Perhaps the 7 Fiends Hall of the Netherworld were crazily attacking the glazed moon-treading tower right now, wanting to take revenge for Ji Wuchang. And clearly, Lin Yu didn't seem to care about the 7 Fiends Hall's revenge at all. "Young master, this item is very important to this concubine, please grant me my wish." Emo Xianxian directly sat on Lin Yu's lap. Emo Xianxian and Lin Yu were very close to each other. Especially when this woman was drunk. If it was an ordinary man, he wouldn't be able to resist at all. "You're willing to sacrifice your body to obtain the 9 luminaries' golden pill?" Lin Yu put away the golden pill and teased. At the same time, his strong arm pressed against Emo Xianxian's back. Feeling Lin Yu's arm moving, Emo Xianxian bit her lower lip. Her heartbeat was faster than ever before. You have to think carefully. Some things can only be used once. If you use it up, you won't be so precious in the future. Lin Yu reminded her. Mo Xianxian suddenly felt that she couldn't hide any secrets from him. Young master, how did you know? You're a rare woman with ambition and self-respect. Lin Yu wanted to say something but stopped. He remembered that during the 100,000 years he was trapped, he refined a fake 9 luminaries golden pill and tricked Mo Xianxian into spending a night of fun. Thinking back, Lin Yu felt that he was still too naive. Because of that, Mo Xianxian directly killed him for the fake pill. After all, he was only in the mortal realm. After failing a few times, he learned to be smart. He lied to Mo Xianxian that the 9 luminaries golden pill still had a final step. It was also through this lie and warning method that Lin Yu successfully entered the realm that Ling Chongfeng dreamed of. I didn't expect that you're still doing it for the 9 luminaries golden pill. Lin Yu sighed. Mo Xianxian saw that he was acting strangely and asked in confusion, "Young master, what's wrong?" "It's none of your business." Lin Yu tightened his arms. Mo Xianxian snorted, "Young master, be gentler. I'm just hugging you. If you can't even bear this, what should we do later?" Lin Yu teased. He remembered that this woman was under a lot of pressure. Could it be that she became weak because she was drunk? "Young master, do you mean what you say?" Mo Xianxian's heart thumped. She felt that if the other party was Lin Yu, she wouldn't lose out by doing this. After all, Lin Yu's appearance was many times more handsome than Ling Chongfeng. Also because of the alcohol, Mo Xianxian couldn't help but hug Lin Yu tightly, and her whole body rubbed against him. However, the latter suddenly let go of her. Mo Xianxian lost all her strength and retreated a few steps, almost falling down. She stabilized herself and asked in confusion, "Young master, why are you doing this?" Chapter 596. I feel that if this continues, I'll be at a disadvantage, Lin Yu said with a serious face. The wind and moon suddenly stopped. Mo Xianxian was so angry that her face turned from red to ashen. "What do you mean by you'll be at a disadvantage? I'm the #1 beauty of the Tianhun sect, and I'm still a virgin. How dare you say that you're the one at a disadvantage?" Mo Xianxian even had the heart to die. The men who had pursued her, starting from Ling Chongfeng, to the other disciples of the Tianhun sect, and the dozens of sects in the Jade Silk Dao world. She couldn't even keep count. But now, in front of Lin Yu, she was a woman who took advantage of men. "Miss, please respect yourself. I, Qin Wunyan, am not the kind of person you think I am." Seeing Lin Yu's righteous expression, Mo Xianxian immediately snapped out of her warm and carefree thoughts. "Then what will it take for young master to agree to transfer the golden core to me?" Lin Yu continued, "If you want the 9 luminaries golden core, that's fine. But can you help me do something?" "So you've come up with a bad idea?" Mo Xianxian suppressed the sullenness in her heart and bowed. "I was too impulsive. May I know what you want me to do for you to give me the 9 luminaries golden core? You should know that I offended the people of the earthly fire heaven-burning pavilion today." Lin Yu reminded her and continued, "During the day, those people were afraid of me and gave me their storage rings. But tomorrow is the second part of the Flower Appreciation Festival, the martial arts competition, so it will be troublesome." "I understand." Mo Xianxian sized up Lin Yu. She naturally knew the rules of the martial competition. It was a one-on-one challenge. Today, Lin Yu offended the Archemperor. The Archemperor didn't dare to fight Lin Yu because he was afraid of the 10 great experts. But if the Archemperor challenged Lin Yu one-on-one, how could he be a match for the Archemperor with his law realm cultivation? Mo Xianxian smiled. "So you're afraid too?" She originally wanted to tease Lin Yu to regain the face she had just lost. But he didn't expect that because of this sentence, Lin Yu's eyes suddenly became sharp. "Young master, please don't take offense. I misspoke. Mo Xian immediately apologized, fearing that she might have angered Lin Yu. I only need the Tianhun sect to cooperate with me. Everything else is none of your business. Lin Yu's tone was incomparably calm, but Mo Xian's back was drenched in cold sweat. This concubine understands. This concubine won't dare to say anything that shouldn't be said. Mo Xian nodded repeatedly. Lin Yu didn't bicker with her. In fact, his tone just now was just to see if Mo Xian was sincere in cooperating. Clearly, this woman's desire for the Navagraha golden pill was enough to make her do anything. The leaders of the major forces participating in the flower viewing event can have one chance to fight on their behalf. Lin Yu continued. According to the rules of the Flower Appreciation Assembly, if the Archemperor causes any trouble for me, then your elder brother Ling Changfeng can fight in my place. Young master is right. Mo Xian nodded. She already understood Lin Yu's meaning. Young master only has one condition? Of course not. The value of the Navagraha golden pill isn't something that can be offset by such a small matter. I also need you to do the second thing. Lin Yu's gaze landed on Mo Xian's body. Mo Xian's heart tightened. Don't tell me I have to offer my body? Don't think too much. I'm not that interested in your body. Lin Yu's cold voice sounded. The second thing is that I need you to help me get the third woman for the flower viewing event. These two sentences caused Mo Xian's self-esteem to suffer yet another blow. Lin Yu wasn't interested in her, but he was willing to use such methods to get another woman. In comparison, the difference between her and that woman was like the difference between heaven and earth. If you can't do these two things, then I'll use the Navagraha golden pill for myself. I can do it, Mo Xian hurriedly replied. I'll immediately go back and discuss it with my elder brother. We'll definitely do our best to fulfill young Master Qin's conditions. Go. Lin Yu no longer paid any attention to her. Mo Xian also tactfully left. Master, you've succeeded again. Zhang Qingxue popped out. She stuck out her tongue and asked expectantly, Master, what you asked me to say to Mo Xian, did I say it well? Lin Yu's face twitched. It's only one sentence. How can I tell if it was good or not? Zhang Qingxue's face was filled with disappointment. However, she still asked curiously, Master, why do we need to borrow the strength of the Tianhun sect to deal with the earthly fire heaven-burning pavilion? What she meant was that with the strength of the 10 great sovereigns, there was no need for the Tianhun sect's Ling Changfeng. Only the leader of a faction can challenge or be challenged. Not just anyone can make a move at the Flower Appreciation Festival. Lin Yu explained. I once visited the Moonlight Stepping Pavilion at night and fought with Hong Binglu and Lu Yanqing. If the Archemperor wants to challenge me tomorrow, the two pavilion masters will definitely recognize me. I understand now. Zhang Qingxue slapped the table in praise. With Ling Changfeng's help, Master won't have to do it personally. You're not stupid, Lin Yu casually said. Although it didn't sound like a compliment, Zhang Qingxue took it as an affirmation. She asked again, if Ling Changfeng really helps us, will Master give him the Navagraha golden pill? Of course not. Lin Yu smiled faintly. Master, you don't keep your word. Zhang Qingxue immediately retorted. Lin Yu coughed dryly. What I mean is, Ling Changfeng will definitely violate the agreement. Therefore, I don't need to give him the Navagraha golden pill. Why? Zhang Qingxue was puzzled. Lin Yu smiled confidently. Because the woman who came to admire the flowers is very beautiful. With Ling Changfeng's character, he won't let me take advantage of him. So Master saw through Ling Changfeng's lecherous nature and knew that he wouldn't be able to achieve great things. Zhang Qingxue giggled and sighed. There are very few men in the world who are as calm as Master. Of course. Lin Yu deeply agreed. The next day, everyone gathered at the glazed moon treading towers plaza again. This time, the Seven Fiends Hall of the Netherworld was absent. Many people were a little surprised. Where did Ji Wucheng go? Yesterday, he was beaten by Qin Wunyan. Did he leave with a grudge? Don't you know? Ji Wucheng is dead, and his body can't be found. What happened? While everyone was discussing, Lin Yu and the others were sitting in the same position as yesterday. Because of the limelight yesterday, no one dared to snatch this position from him. The people of the earthly fire heaven-burning pavilion arrived before him. The Arch-Emperor looked over from afar with an extremely cold gaze. Vice Pavilion Master, we'll kill Qin Wunyan first. Yeah, Vice Pavilion Master, you have to stand up for us. Qin Wunyan is too much of a bully. Brothers, we didn't sleep well last night. Every time we think about the treasures and dazzling bot we worked so hard to accumulate, we just can't take it lying down. Upon closer inspection, the people of the earthly fire heaven-burning pavilion didn't look very well either. Brat, the Arch-Emperor snorted coldly. I'll find a chance to kill Qin Wunyan. Don't worry. Chapter 597. Lin Yu didn't care what the people from the earthly fire heaven-burning pavilion thought. Instead, the people from the Tianhun sect walked over. The one leading them was Ling Chongfeng, followed by Mo Xianxian. Junior sister has already told me about Brother Qin's suggestion. Ling Chongfeng said first. His tone was polite. However, under that seemingly gentle gaze, Lin Yu could still see the murderous intent hidden in the other party. This kid had suffered a few losses in his hands. However, with his personality, he wouldn't back down so easily. If Lin Yu showed any flaws, Ling Chongfeng would be the first to kill him. How about it? Lin Yu said indifferently. Even though Ling Chongfeng had already walked over, he still didn't stand up. Instead, he drank the tea that Zhang Qingxue had brewed for him and casually looked around. In the square, many people had already sat down. As for the host, the glazed moon-treading pavilion hadn't appeared yet. I think Brother Qin's suggestion is good. Today, I will do my best to help you, but Ling Chongfeng's eyes narrowed. I hope Brother Qin can keep his promise. Mo Xianxian, who was behind him, looked at Lin Yu with a much gentler gaze. She didn't know why, but after yesterday's brief physical contact, she felt that Mo Xianxian felt that Lin Yu was more pleasing to the eye. After all, compared to Ling Chongfeng, she was more attracted to such a courageous and intelligent man who could keep his composure. In an instant, Mo Xianxian had already forgotten the grievance she felt when Lin Yu mocked her. If you don't believe me, then there's no need to cooperate. Lin Yu smiled lightly. His casual words made Ling Chongfeng frown. This kid was too arrogant. I only gave you a reminder, and you actually dare to embarrass me? Hee, Brother Qin, don't misunderstand. I didn't mean it like that. Ling Chongfeng's face twitched as he apologized again with an apologetic smile. The temptation of the 9 luminaries' golden pill was too great. It was enough to make the younger generation scramble for it. Like Mo Xianxian, she was willing to give her body. How could Ling Chongfeng not think the same? It was just that no one wanted his body. Otherwise, Ling Chongfeng would have been the first to rush out and discuss this kind of transaction with the glazed moon treading tower. The people from the Tianhun sect awkwardly returned to their seat. Mo Xianxian cast a few more glances at Lin Yu. The latter was still cold and indifferent, and even seemed to be ignoring them. What an arrogant man! Mo Xianxian snorted. She didn't have any intention to blame Lin Yu. Instead, she felt a sense of worship. Very soon, the people from the glazed moon treading tower had arrived. This time, the leader was not Lu Yanqing but Hong Binglu. Why isn't the second floor master here? Strange, this year's Flower Appreciation Festival should be hosted by the second floor master. Everyone was astonished. Hong Binglu was the first to speak. Senior Marshal Sister is not feeling well. I'm afraid it's not convenient for her to host the Flower Appreciation Festival today, so I'll host it on her behalf. Disappointment appeared in the eyes of some of the men below. After all, as compared to Hong Binglu, second house master Lu Yanqing was much more beautiful. Only with a beauty like her hosting the Flower Appreciation Festival would the men be more willing to bid. It seems that the glazed moon treading tower has earned enough yesterday, so they don't need the second house master to show her face in public. After earning enough, they just sent an ugly woman to entertain us? The glazed moon treading tower really knows how to treat their guests. Lower your voice. Don't let Hong Binglu hear you. She's not someone to be trifled with. The people below were somewhat dissatisfied, and all these gossips fell into Hong Binglu's ears. She snorted coldly. Damn woman, you rely on your face every day. Other than that face, what else do you have that is better than me? Hong Binglu looked like a shrew, and she had already cursed Lu Yanqing in her heart. Seeing her ferocious look, the crowd didn't dare to say anything. Since everyone is here, let's start today's martial arts competition. Hong Binglu gave the order, and her gaze swept across the major forces below. The martial arts competition is mainly about learning from each other. The leaders of the major forces can fight on their own. Let's see what everyone is capable of. With that, Hong Binglu sat down cross-legged. In the direction of the earthly flame heaven-burning pavilion, the Arch-Emperor snorted coldly. He stood up, smashed the table in front of him, and stepped onto the square. Why is the earthly flame heaven-burning pavilion so angry? You don't know, right? Yesterday, Qin Wunyan robbed the people of the earthly flame heaven-burning pavilion. He's still holding back his anger. Qin Wunyan is so powerful? The crowd couldn't help but look over. That young man was still casually whispering to Zhang Qingxue, who was next to him. The way they behaved intimately made people envious to death. You get up here. The Arch-Emperor glared, then raised his right hand and pointed in Lin Yu's direction. The Vice-Pavilion Lord of the Earthly Flame Heaven-Burning Pavilion challenges young Master Qin Wunyan. Seat of honor, Hong Binglu announced. At the same time, she looked in Lin Yu's direction. Young Master Qin Wunyan, please fight. Lin Yu didn't move. Hong Binglu narrowed her eyes and said impatiently, Young Master Qin, this is the rule of our martial arts competition. Lin Yu still didn't move. Bastard, I want to challenge you. The Arch-Emperor's cold voice rang out. Now that Lin Yu didn't come out, he stood alone in the square like an idiot, feeling a little awkward. Senior brother, hurry up, Mo Xian urged. Beside her, Ling Chongfeng shook his head helplessly. Originally, he was still angry at Lin Yu's arrogant attitude. He wanted to let the others scold Lin Yu, and then he would make a move. However, he didn't expect Mo Xian to be so anxious. Junior sister, do you have other feelings for Qin Wunyan? Ling Chongfeng asked suspiciously. I'm afraid that it will delay the important matter of getting the 9 luminaries golden pill. Mo Xian said angrily. If Lin Yu gave the 9 luminaries golden pill to her, she would be the first to take it and run. Once she became a Sky Supreme, even if the Tianhun sect wanted to settle the score, she wouldn't be afraid. If young Master Qin Wunyan is unhappy, I don't think I need to say more about senior brother's loss. Mo Xian warned again. All right. Ling Chongfeng stood up helplessly. But at the same time, Lin Yu stood up as well. What's the meaning of this? The Arch-Emperor was stunned. Brother Qin, let me fight this battle for you, Ling Chongfeng said from afar. Lin Yu said indifferently, I thought you didn't want to cooperate anymore. Brother Qin, you misunderstand. Just now Ling Chongfeng said awkwardly, my legs were numb, so I stood a little slower. Nonsense. Lin Yu sat down and ignored him. Ling Chongfeng had already flown to the square. At this moment, the Arch-Emperor's face was red with anger. I'm challenging Qin Wunyan. Ling Chongfeng, why are you here? There's a rule for the martial arts competition. The leaders of the other factions can fight for you, right? Chapter 598. Ling Chongfeng smiled and waved his hand, radiating the air of a noble prince. He was completely different from the person who had suffered so many setbacks in front of Lin Yu. If he hadn't run into Master, this Ling Chongfeng might have been in the limelight. Zhang Qingxue smiled as she continued to peel fruit for Lin Yu. But when Master makes a move, any other chosen can only pale in comparison. She looked over at Lin Yu, her bright eyes focused on his reaction. From the way her master listened to her words, it was almost as if he believed himself to be very powerful. Zhang Qingxue hadn't exaggerated at all. "Third Tavern Lord, am I right?" Ling Chongfeng asked Hong Binglu. Hong Binglu was surprised. Didn't Ling Chongfeng and Qin Wunyan fight yesterday? Why would he be fighting for Qin Wunyan today? Wasn't this a bit too sudden? Well, there is a rule like that. Hong Binglu nodded. Although it's rare for someone to fight for someone else in the past, it's still a rule. That's fine then. Ling Chongfeng smiled and looked at the Arch-Emperor. Let's exchange a few moves. Damn it, are you crazy? The Arch-Emperor said angrily. Cut the crap, Ling Chongfeng said. Our cultivation bases are about the same. Let me use divine will to test out the Arch-Emperor's battle body. Ling Chongfeng made the first move. He wasn't confident in being able to beat the Arch-Emperor, but neither was his opponent. Now that Ling Chongfeng had made his move, the fight was actually not very meaningful. Lin Yu was still leisurely sipping tea and eating fruit, being served by the beautiful Zhang Qingxue. As for the people from the earthly fire heaven-burning pavilion, they were completely flabbergasted. Isn't the Vice Pavilion Lord fighting Qin Wunyan? What? Why is he fighting someone from the Heavenly Soul sect? They simply couldn't understand what was happening. I'll make you regret helping Qin Wunyan, Ling Chongfeng. The Arch-Emperor roared, his killing intent surging. Blue veins popped out on his arms, making them look like tree trunks covering his skin. With a wave of his hand, a powerful blood qi, accompanied by the sound of a storm, blasted directly towards Ling Chongfeng. Heavenly Soul Divine Shadow. Ling Chongfeng raised both of his hands. His entire body remained motionless, but his supreme will converged into his divine will. In an instant, a huge celestial image appeared behind him. This Dharma idol was over 10,000 feet tall, and when it looked down, everyone in the square suddenly looked like ants. Transcendence World. This brat looks like a spoiled brat, but in reality, his control over his divine will is so impressive. The people of the Tianhun school are proficient in the use of their divine sense. Although they aren't very proficient in their divine sense, their techniques allow them to transform their cultivation into divine sense attack. You do have some skills. Chuckling coldly, the Arch-Emperor increased the power of his fist, and at the same time, a 30,000-meter tall projection appeared behind him. It was an evil god formed from scarlet blood qi. Die. You're the one who will die. Ling Chongfeng's eyes were as cold as ice. Originally, he had been hoping to casually deal with the Arch-Emperor, then retreat. How could he have guessed that the Arch-Emperor would be so crazy as to unleash such deadly attacks? It was as if he had transferred his killing intent towards Lin Yu onto him. The power of his battle constitution clashed with the power of his divine sense technique. Everyone down below was very nervous, and many of the people in the front row had already backed up a few dozen meters. They were worried that one of the moves would hit them. That included the people from the Tianhun school and the earthly fire heaven-burning pavilion. As of this moment, the only person left in the front row was Lin Yu. Master, who do you think will win? Zhang Qingxue asked curiously. Apparently, the 10 paragons all had different opinions, and were now discussing the matter. To them, a fight between paragons like this was the perfect opportunity to gain enlightenment and further their cultivation. The Arch-Emperor, Lin Yu said casually. When the 10 paragons heard that, they stopped arguing. I told you the Arch-Emperor would win. Even the emissary said the same thing. I don't think so. Ling Chongfeng is young, and his divine sense technique is mysterious and unfathomable. Ling Chongfeng could wear down the Archemperor's energy and blood, and then kill him. Lin Yu didn't say anything. And yet, Zhang Qingxue didn't doubt his words at all. If her master said the Archemperor would win, then the Archemperor would win. Just as she had expected. Moments later, the 30,000-meter-tall, illusory figure vanished. Then, a figure flew down from the sky. It was none other than Ling Chongfeng. I can't believe the Archemperor actually won. Emissary, why is that? Some of the paragons didn't understand, and turned to Lin Yu to ask questions. In response, he gave a perfunctory answer. Fighting spirit. With that, he didn't say anything else. The 10 paragons were no fools, and immediately understood what Lin Yu was trying to say. Zhang Qingxue was the only one who didn't understand. Master, what's fighting spirit? Lin Yu smiled. Seeing that she had served him well, he was feeling a bit more patient. The Archemperor wants to go all out, but Ling Chongfeng wants to stop when it's necessary. The two of them have different goals in mind. I think I get it. Zhang Qingxue thought back to the last move. Ling Chongfeng had clearly been worried about getting hurt, and had retreated early to avoid it. However, the Archemperor had taken the brunt of Ling Chongfeng's divine will attack head-on, then rushed over and punched Ling Chongfeng. Bastard! Ling Chongfeng scrambled to his feet, only to have the Archemperor's foot sweep toward him. The qi and blood of the combat cultivator surged, and this kick directly set off a fierce storm. Before the force of the kick arrived, the ground beneath Ling Chongfeng's body had already exploded. Broken rocks flew up, cutting through the face that he thought was handsome. It's not that easy, Ling Chongfeng said, his eyes bloodshot. Burning his cultivation base, he sent out a stream of divine will, which hit the Archemperor's forehead. The Archemperor felt a stabbing pain, and his movements slowed by half a breath's worth of time. In that brief moment, Ling Chongfeng had already put some distance between him and the Archemperor. 100 meters away, the Archemperor's forehead was bleeding, and his divine will was slightly damaged. However, he could still fight. In contrast, Ling Chongfeng seemed to have reached his limit. Without a few hours of shining bot empowerment, he wouldn't be able to recover his battle prowess. Vice Pavilion Lord of the Earthly Flame Heaven-Burning Pavilion is truly incredible. I, Ling Chongfeng, concede defeat. Seeing the murderous look on the Archemperor's face, Ling Chongfeng was worried that the Archemperor would attack again, so he conceded. In that case, congratulations on your victory, Pavilion Lord Archemperor. Hong Binglu said coolly from her seat of honor. Despite how furious the Archemperor was, he had no choice but to stop. Glaring hatefully at Ling Chongfeng, he said, "You'd better remember this, punk." Apparently, his anger toward Lin Yu was now directed toward Ling Chongfeng. Ling Chongfeng chuckled disdainfully. "If my dad were here, I'd kill you." Cursing inwardly, Ling Chongfeng walked past Lin Yu, clasped hands and said, "How was my performance, Brother Qin?" He had assumed that Lin Yu would praise him, or perhaps even give him the Navagraha gold pill. But to his surprise, Lin Yu didn't even look him in the eye. "Elder brother, there's still the flower viewing tomorrow," Mo Xian reminded him. Inwardly, she was thinking, if it weren't for being the junior sect master of the Heavenly Soul sect, how could someone as impatient as Ling Chongfeng have accomplished so much? "You're right," Ling Chongfeng said. "I'm not in a hurry. See you tomorrow, Brother Qin." Chapter 599. Ling Chongfeng only felt his qi and blood surging violently. After the battle with the Archemperor, he had paid a heavy price. "If you go back on your word and don't give me the 9 luminaries golden pill, I'll kill you tomorrow." Ling Chongfeng's eyes flashed with a cold killing intent, but he hid it well. The people from the Tianhun sect bid their farewells and left. Before Mo Xian left, she bowed to Lin Yu and bid him farewell. "Master, I think that Mo Xian is interested in you." Zhang Qingxue smiled. She felt that a woman's intuition was never wrong. There are plenty of women who are interested in me. Lin Yu took a sip of tea. After that, there were only a few small sects left in the martial arts competition. Lin Yu wanted to leave, but he saw an interesting person in the plaza. You're here. Lin Yu smiled. He knew this person, and he was very familiar with him. After being trapped for 100,000 years, this person was one of the few interesting people. It was a handsome young man. He wore a light purple robe and held an ordinary-looking long saber in his hand. He had already defeated several experts from different sections. Rather than handsome, it was more accurate to say that he was beautiful. He was different from Bai Xuechen and Qin Wunyan. His handsomeness was a bit more flirtatious. If it was a man who was experienced with women, he might think that this was a girl dressed up as a man. But Lin Yu knew that this guy was a feminine man. Master, what's wrong? Zhang Qingxue saw that Lin Yu's expression was strange. As his voice faded, the feminine-looking young master turned around and left the square. No one knew which sect he came from. They only knew that he defeated the leaders of the 7 sects in one go. Perhaps because these people were too weak, the feminine-looking young master looked bored. The ordinary and worn-out silver-white long saber in his hand was slung over his shoulder, and he had already left the square. Nothing, I just saw an interesting person. Lin Yu retracted his gaze and left the plaza with Zhang Qingxue. As for the 10 great sovereigns, they could also tell that the Yin soft blade seal was extraordinary. This person defeated those law realm experts without using his cultivation base? The strongest one was at the 3rd firmament of the law realm. However, he couldn't withstand a single strike from him. That's an innate saber seal. It's as if his saber grew out of his hand. If his cultivation was at the same level as ours, I'm afraid even we wouldn't be his match. Sharp saber intent and strange saber technique. I only heard that the saber sovereign of the infinite Tao world had such unfathomable attainments in saber sealing. Could this person be a descendant of the saber sovereign? Saber sovereign? On the way, Zhang Qingxue heard the words of the 10 great supremes and couldn't help but ask curiously. What a domineering name! The Sword Emperor and Saber Lord. 10,000 years ago, the Sword Emperor of the Feng-Yi Dao world was extremely outstanding. His equal was the Saber Lord of the Infinite Dao world, Gui Rulai. People called him the Buddha of Killing Aura. Saber Lord Gui Rulai. Lord Buddha Murderous Qi. Zhang Qingxue was stunned. Even though she had never seen the 10 great utmost exalted before, she could tell how powerful they were from their words. He was equal to the Sword Emperor. 10,000 years ago, the overlord of the infinite Tao world, Saber Lord Gui Rulai. He had killed too many people and was as fierce as a ghost. Hence, he was also called the Lord Buddha Murderous Qi. Where is the Saber Sovereign now? Zhang Qingxue asked curiously. No one knows. That kind of great emperor-level existence is not something we can understand. That's right. There is a world of difference between the Supremes and the Equilibrium Great Emperor realm. If not, how could Ghost Emperor Tsang Yuan stop our 100 Empire Coalition army alone? The 10 Great Supremes continued to discuss. Even their tone was somewhat apologetic to Zhang Qingxue. That day we were instigated by the Purple Cloud Emperor and were blinded by greed to make things difficult for the vast Moon Empire. 7th Princess, please don't take this matter to heart. The leading heavenly supremes cupped their fists and said, it would have been better if he didn't mention it. Since he did, the rest of the supremes also cupped their fists and apologized along the way. Master, Zhang Qingxue looked at Lin Yu with some fear. She had no idea what to do. This is your business, Lin Yu said casually. He stroked his chin and thought about the gentle saber seal just now. To be able to get such an evaluation from the 10 great supremes, it could be seen how powerful that gentle saber seal was. I remember that the disappearance of Lord Murderous Chi is related to the glazed moon treading tower. Could it be that kid already has some clues? The corners of Lin Yu's mouth lifted slightly. If that was the case, then it would be fun. If he could get the support of the infinite Tao world and the Tsongling Tao world, the Tao world of squares might have a new place. At that time, he would revive the Tao world of squares and kill the Ghost Emperor. He would also have the capital to step on the Sky Bridge. Lin Yu couldn't help but think of what the 10 Great Supremes said. He had to become stronger quickly because there were still many people waiting for him. There was also the secret of the small wooden house, the secret of the system, the reason why he was trapped on the same day for 100,000 years. Everything was still waiting for him in the future. And according to the 10 Great Supremes, he didn't have much time left. He had to become stronger quickly. The Supremes of Heaven and Earth, the Equilibrium Great Emperor, and all the top powerhouses in this starry sky wanted to step on the Sky Bridge. Even someone as strong as the Ghost Emperor, who had planned for 10,000 years, only wanted to leave his Tao intent on the Sky Bridge and walk to the end. And the Tao intent outside Tao Master Tsongling's body was beaten down by the Ghost Emperor and the Azure Sky Tao Lord. It just so happened that even emperors like the Tao Lords had reached an extreme level of competition and desire to ascend the Sky Bridge. As for why they wanted to go up, Lin Yu naturally knew, because there was a power above the Equilibrium Great Emperor. Heaven Realm. Emissary, have you heard of the Saber Lord? Along the way, the 10 Great Supremes couldn't come to a conclusion. It was because the disappearance of the Saber Lord was the same as the disappearance of the Sword Emperor. There were too many questions. Even after 10,000 years had passed, these questions were still difficult to answer. I've heard of him, Lin Yu said casually and didn't think about it anymore. They returned to the inn. Even the 10 Great Supremes and Zhang Qingxue looked at Lin Yu with longing eyes. They hoped to get some information about the legend of the Saber Lord from Lin Yu. The emissary is young, but since he can fight against the vast Abyss Tao Lord, his knowledge must be 100 times greater than ours. That's right. Since the emissary knows, he must have more information than us. So, instead of arguing about where the killing intent went, why don't we listen to what the emissary has to say? Unfortunately, even if they begged, Lin Yu didn't seem to care. If there's a chance, I'll tell you. With that, Lin Yu returned to his room. Zhang Qingxue wanted to come in and serve him, but when Lin Yu opened the door, the latter rejected her. Make me a pot of tea first. Chapter 600. Lin Yu instructed. Okay. Zhang Qingxue stopped in her tracks and did not continue to approach him. Instead, she turned around and went to make tea. Looking at the beautiful lady sitting in front of him, Lin Yu smiled but did not say a word. He closed the door as if nothing had happened. He sat in front of her calmly. Second floor master, you came to visit me but did not enter through the front door. Instead, you hid in my room. Lin Yu smiled and continued, a man and a woman alone. Second floor master, you are the #1 beauty in the glazed moon stepping tower. Aren't you afraid that Qin Wunyan will do something to you? Qin Wunyan. Qin Wunyan. I'm afraid this is your fake name? The person who came to this room to wait for Lin Yu in advance was the second floor master of the glazed moon stepping tower, Lu Yanqing. At this moment, Lu Yanqing did not look well. She was not as high-spirited and arrogant as she was yesterday. Her beautiful face was paler than before. She was exposed for using a fake name. Lin Yu took his time to size up Lu Yanqing without any scruples. Second floor master, you'd better think about your injuries. You were injured by Jiang Qingying, and it's not easy to recover. Lin Yu's casual words made Lu Yanqing's expression change slightly. She had guessed Lin Yu's identity, but did not expect Lin Yu to expose her situation before she could state her purpose of visit. How do you know that I'm injured? Lu Yanqing smiled as if she was trying to hide her injuries. In her eyes, Lin Yu's background was mysterious, but his strength was only a weakling in the lost state. There were many people like him in the glazed moon's stepping tower. Some lost state cultivators were not even qualified to be her disciple. Because I understand women, especially beautiful women. Lin Yu was still looking at her. If it was an ordinary man, he would have been a corpse by now. Lu Yanqing recalled that Lin Yu had said something similar to her yesterday. Hee, young master, I'm afraid you've deceived many young ladies with these words, right? Lu Yanqing smiled coldly, as if she was scolding Lin Yu for overestimating himself. I am not like those young ladies. Therefore, young master, you don't have to waste your breath. Interesting. Lin Yu smirked. You're just an inexperienced woman. How dare you say that you're not a little girl? He stood up. Under Lu Yanqing's surprised gaze, he boldly approached her. Lin Yu's gaze was extremely sharp. What, second floor master, do you want me to treat you as a real woman? Humph. Lu Yanqing slammed her palm on the table. Even if I have never had a man, I am still a real woman. However, she also knew that everyone here was Lin Yu's subordinates, and those 10 subordinates who seemed to be in the law realm were actually extremely unfathomable. Therefore, Lu Yanqing did not dare to use too much strength. She only made a slight noise. Seeing that she was angry, Lin Yu changed the topic. Just say it. Why is second floor master looking for me? I would like to borrow your 3 lives colored glass pearl. Lu Yanqing spoke directly without any hesitation. This also made Lin Yu feel her urgency. So you're injured and need the 3 lives colored glass pearl to heal? Lin Yu smiled. He did not hide his ridicule at all. As expected, Lu Yanqing's expression turned ugly. How can I borrow it? Second floor master, why don't you tell me what you can give me first? Lin Yu's invasive gaze wandered around Lu Yanqing's hot body. Lu Yanqing snorted. She did not know why, but if other men were to look at her like this, she would only feel disgusted. However, Lin Yu's gaze was filled with undisguised desire. Nevertheless, Lu Yanqing did not feel uncomfortable at all. Instead, because of the admiration in Lin Yu's eyes, Lu Yanqing could not get angry with this young man. I can save your life, Lu Yanqing said softly. Lu Yanqing said softly, do you know that you killed the people from the 7 Demons' Hall of the Netherworld? Even though you were ruthless and crushed their bones and scattered their ashes, there is no such thing as an impenetrable wall in this world. The glazed moon treading tower has already received the news. The people from the 7 Demons' Hall of the Netherworld will come to deal with you very soon. Moreover, the people who will come this time will not be like Ji Wuchang, who relied on elixirs to reach the supreme martial artist realm. They will be real experts. You are saying that the other hall masters of the 7 Demons' Hall of the Netherworld will come to deal with me personally? Lin Yu asked rhetorically. Lu Yanqing nodded. She had thought that this young man would pack up and leave in fear. However, she did not expect Lin Yu to not care at all. You're not afraid of death? Of course I am. Don't you have any other plans? Lu Yanqing did not understand why this young man was so bold. Yesterday, when Lu Yanqing knew that he had killed everyone from the 7 Demons' Hall of the Netherworld, she started to doubt her life. The 7 Hall Masters were the bottom line of the 7 Demons' Hall of the Netherworld. Was he looking down on a top sect? Didn't you say that you will protect me? Lin Yu asked rhetorically. Lu Yanqing was at a loss for words when she heard what he said. Fine. If you are willing to lend me the 3 lives colored glass pearl, I can protect you. She had thought that Lin Yu would compromise. However, Lu Yanqing was wrong again. Lin Yu did not care about her protection at all. Lu Yanqing did not need his reply to know that he was fooling her. Second house master is also injured. I'm afraid that Jiang Qingying will not let you off easily. How can you protect me? As long as I have the 3 lives colored glass pearl, I will be able to recover my skills, Lu Yanqing explained immediately. However, Lin Yu still touched his chin and said, As far as I know, each of the 3 tower heads had one of the 3 lives colored glass beads. I wonder where the second tower head's 3 lives colored glass bead went? Lu Yanqing was furious. Do you have to get to the bottom of this? He spread out his hands. Second house master can choose not to tell me. Lu Yanqing was interrupted. There was a knock on the door. It was Zhang Qingxue who had brought in tea. Master, seeing Lin Yu walking toward the door, Lu Yanqing was afraid that the news of her being here would be leaked. She turned around and hid on Lin Yu's bed. Creak. The door opened. Zhang Qingxue placed the tea and the wooden tray on the table. She was extremely intelligent. How could she not see that there were 2 cups on the table? However, the tea inside was cold. It was not as good as hers. Master, do you want me to fill it up? Zhang Qingxue asked softly. No need. Someone will fill it for me. Lin Yu's voice was heard. Lu Yanqing, who was hiding under the blanket, trembled. She was extremely nervous. If she had known that she would be discovered hiding under the blanket, she would rather be discovered outside. Then, Qingxue will go out first. Zhang Qingxue smiled gently. She bowed and left. Before she left, she did not forget to close the door. Come out. Lin Yu returned to his seat. When he saw Lu Yanqing sitting up in a sorry state, he raised his eyebrows at his cup. Do I need to say more? Chapter 601. What do you mean? Lu Yanqing had acted like a thief just now. Now, she was making a fool of herself in front of Lin Yu. She even wanted to pour tea for Lin Yu? How could she be willing to do that? I'm here to work with you. Lu Yanqing was slightly angry. I hope you can understand that we have an equal relationship. She thought that Lin Yu needed her protection because he had offended the Netherworld's 7 Demons Hall. However, the latter just smiled. We might not be equal even if we work together. Lin Yu smiled faintly. He did not move. Instead, he was determined to make Lu Yanqing pour tea for him. Since you're the one who took the initiative to look for me, our relationship is not equal. Do you understand? Upon hearing that, Lu Yanqing could not help but clench her teeth subconsciously. She looked at Lin Yu. Are you really not afraid of the Netherworld's 7 Demons Hall? How are the people from the Netherworld's 7 Demons Hall compared to the vast Abyss Tao Master? Lin Yu asked in return. Vast Abyss Tao Master. How can they be compared? Lu Yanqing did not understand why Lin Yu had asked such a strange question. Tao Masters are supreme existences. No power can challenge them. Why are you asking this? I just want to tell you that I'm not even afraid of the vast Abyss Tao Master. Why should I be afraid of the Netherworld's 7 Demons Hall? Vast Abyss Tao Master. Who exactly are you? Lu Yanqing's heart could not help but beat faster. In her memory, there was only one person among the younger generation who had been in contact with the vast Abyss Tao Master recently. It was the young man who everyone wanted to meet. His appearance had spread throughout the Sky Desert universe. Even the vast Abyss Tao Master could not catch him. He had even issued a wanted order in the Tao world at the cost of a year's Tharch comprehension. Unfortunately, a lot of time had passed. Just when everyone thought that they could not find Lin Yu, the vast Abyss Tao Master increased the vast Abyss Tao Master's reward. The vast Abyss Tao Master had actually increased the reward to 10 years of Great Emperor Enlightenment. He wanted to capture Lin Yu no matter what. Young Master Qin, is there a connection between you and Lin Yu? Lu Yanqing had just asked this when Lin Yu interrupted her. Answer my 2 questions first. After hinting that she was related to Lin Yu, Lu Yanqing's attitude became much gentler. After all, an existence that could give the vast Abyss Tao Lord such a headache was already an extremely formidable figure in the universe in her opinion. She had to give face to such a figure. Go ahead. Lu Yanqing stepped forward. Seeing that Lin Yu didn't continue, his eyes fell on the empty teacup in front of him. Do you have to be so overbearing? Lu Yanqing snorted. She had no choice but to pour a cup of tea for Lin Yu. The latter did not waste any time and said, "The first thing I want to know is, who is the one who kidnapped the woman you brought out to admire the flowers tomorrow?" His voice was calm. Although it sounded like an ordinary question, Lu Yanqing could not help but feel goosebumps on her back. Why did this brat have such a powerful aura? Lu Yanqing swallowed her saliva. She suddenly felt that although this young man looked cultured and refined, he might have killed more people than her. Only after going through many massacres could one condense such a murderous aura. "It's none of my business." Lu Yanqing immediately shook her head. "It's Jiang Qingying and Hong Binglu. On their way back they met that girl." She wanted to explain further. However, Lin Yu had already nodded. "I know that you don't want to kidnap people. This is also why you have more ambition than Jiang Qingying." After Lin Yu finished speaking, Lu Yanqing blinked. She did not know why, but she felt happy after being evaluated by this brat. "Thank you." Lu Yanqing asked in reply, "You little brat, are you really the thief from the night before yesterday? You still recognized me." Lin Yu smiled and did not hide the truth. After all, Lu Yanqing was asking him for a favor now. So what if he said it out loud? "I knew it. Although I did not host the Flower Appreciation Festival today, I heard that Ling Chongfeng from the Tianhun sect helped you fight against the Archemperor. There must be a strange reason behind this." Lu Yanqing analyzed. "Continue." "Others might think that you asked Ling Chongfeng to help you because you were afraid of fighting one-on-one with the Archemperor. Only Ling Chongfeng would dare to fight the Archemperor on your behalf. But the problem is, how could someone who dared to kill Ji Wuchang be afraid of the Archemperor? Kid, you seem to be in the law realm, but you have so many tricks up your sleeve. Who knows, maybe the Archemperor would not be a match for you in a real fight." Lin Yu sipped his tea and smiled. "You're not that stupid. I'm the second Tower Lord of the Moonlight Stepping Tower. Of course I'm not stupid." Lu Yanqing snorted. "That's why you avoided fighting the Archemperor. Perhaps it was to protect yourself. However, there is also a second reason. You were worried that we would see through your technique." She leaned in close, hoping to see the change in Lin Yu's expression. However, he was like a dense fog that she could not see through. "You're right. Given the abilities of the three Tower Lords, if I were to exchange a few blows with the Archemperor, you would definitely recognize me as the person from that night." Lin Yu spoke the truth. Lu Yanqing did not expect this kid to be so honest. It saved her the time of probing. However, she did not know that this was Lin Yu's way of showing his sincerity. Knowing each other's secrets could greatly strengthen their relationship. "Kid, you came to save that pretty girl from the start. Are you her lover?" Lu Yanqing asked in a gossipy manner. It was just as Lin Yu had expected. Even if the other party knew her secret, she would not pursue it at this moment. That was because she had a favor to ask of Lin Yu. "Lover?" The corner of Lin Yu's mouth curled into a smile, but he didn't comment. "How can a woman's thoughts be hidden from me?" Lu Yanqing smiled confidently. "When she was brought back, I could tell that she had someone in her heart. That silvery white mirror seemed to have been given to her by her lover." "How did you know?" Lin Yu asked again. Lu Yanqing smiled and said, "If it was her own item, she would not have been able to withstand the torture of Hong Binglu and Jiang Qingying. She would have confessed the method to activate the silvery white mirror. However, she did not confess even after going through 37 rounds of torture. A woman would only keep a secret if she had someone in her heart." Lin Yu's expression was calm. However, he sighed in his heart. This sigh was destined to cause many deaths in the glazed moon treading tower. "It's my turn to ask you the second question." Lin Yu did not want to think about little Mimi anymore. He changed the topic and said, "How did you lose your 3 lives colored glass bead?" Every Tower Lord had a 3 lives colored glass bead. It contained their martial comprehension and a portion of their power. When necessary, they could use the 3 lives colored glass bead to recover from their injuries. Lu Yanqing would not lose such a precious item so easily. After hearing this, Lu Yanqing snorted coldly. I had a small conflict with Jiang Qingying over the 3 lives colored glass bead. She gritted her teeth and hesitated. Chapter 602. However, Lu Yanqing recalled that Lin Yu had admitted that he was the person who sneaked into the glazed moon stepping tower the night before and expressed his sincerity. She naturally could not keep quiet at this moment. Lu Yanqing had unknowingly fallen into Lin Yu's trap. My 3 lives colored glass pearl was broken by Jiang Qingying, Lu Yanqing said. She tried her best to suppress her anger. However, Lin Yu could see through her. It seems that I came at a good time. Lin Yu smiled faintly. Then we can talk about cooperation. You're willing to give me the 3 lives glass pearl? Lu Yanqing was elated. If not for the fact that Jiang Qingying was the most powerful tower master in the glazed moon stepping tower, she would not be able to take out the other 3 lives glass pearls. She would also not come here to beg Lin Yu for treasures. Not only can I give you the 3 lives glass pearl, but I also want to help you with something. What is it? Lu Yanqing only felt that Lin Yu was very evil now. Kill Jiang Qingying. When Lin Yu said these words, there was no emotion at all. It was as if he had just said an extremely ordinary sentence. However, to Lu Yanqing, there was a raging storm in her heart. Impossible. Lu Yanqing stood up in shock. She is a heavenly sovereign. My disciple's tea is not bad. Try it. Lin Yu said faintly and gestured for Lu Yanqing to sit down. As he wished, Lu Yanqing calmed down and sat down. Are you crazy? I only want the 3 lives glass pearl, but you want to kill Jiang Qingying? I am not the one who wants to kill Jiang Qingying. Lin Yu shook the teacup in his hand. You want to kill her too? You're talking nonsense. Lu Yanqing was naturally unwilling to admit it. However, Lin Yu understood her and her past with Jiang Qingying. The position of the tower master originally belonged to you. So many years have passed. Is the second tower master used to this position and no longer has the anger from back then? Lin Yu said in a mocking tone. What do you know? Lu Yanqing squinted her eyes and became wary of Lin Yu again. Originally, he thought that after knowing the relationship between Lin Yu and that beautiful girl, he had already understood this young man. But he didn't expect him to know so much more. I know everything that you know. For example, you had a great chance of defeating her back then. Since then, the position of the glazed moon stepping tower's first tower master is yours. As for the things you don't know, I also know. For example, why did the man who moved your heart for the first time leave you on the eve of the Great War? One sentence after another was heard. Lin Yu felt nothing. However, Lu Yanqing's heart was about to jump out of her throat. She had thought that no one would know about these secrets that had been buried in her heart for so many years. But now, she was like a woman who had no secrets in front of Lin Yu. This made Lu Yanqing feel very insecure. Even the disciples of the glazed moon treading tower wouldn't know about this. Where did you hear it from? Of course, I have my ways. In that case, tell me. Lu Yanqing grabbed Lin Yu's hand. Why did he leave me all of a sudden and for so many years? Lin Yu patted her slender hand, and Lu Yanqing immediately withdrew her hand. I'm sorry. I'm not used to being touched by men. Lu Yanqing apologized. I know. You didn't even let that man touch you. After hearing this, Lu Yanqing's heart tightened again. You're a demon, right? It was not that Lin Yu had said something wrong. Instead, it was as though he had casually revealed the deepest secret in Lu Yanqing's heart. This was not something that Lin Yu should know. I can tell you that the reason why that man left you back then was because of Jiang Qingying. The moment Lin Yu finished speaking, Lu Yanqing's breathing quickened. The former continued, she gave that man something that you're unwilling to give. What is it? Lu Yanqing asked quickly. Her body. Lin Yu smiled. Her body. Jiang Qingying, that be asterisk tch she actually. Lu Yanqing clenched her slender hands so tightly that blood seeped out from her fingernails. How did I lose to her? She had not expected that the man was actually snatched away by Jiang Qingying. Lin Yu smiled faintly. A man with no self-control. He couldn't wait to have a taste of a woman before marrying you. However, the second-floor lord kept her chastity and refused to even let him have simple physical contact. How could a man be satisfied with a simple heart-to-heart talk? Lu Yanqing's delicate body could not help but tremble. Did I do something wrong? Is this how any man behaves? Not necessarily. Some men might only be willing to have a heart-to-heart talk with a woman after getting her body. Lu Yanqing was furious. However, Lin Yu continued nonchalantly, you lost to Jiang Qingying because you were distracted. Naturally, you could only accept the position of the second-floor lord. Over the years, Jiang Qingying had gathered all the resources of the glazed moon stepping tower. Her strength was getting further and further away from yours. You should know this. What about him? Lu Yanqing asked in a low voice. However, Lin Yu could sense some killing intent in her tone. He's dead. Jiang Qingying slept with him and controlled his body. She could also control him to mess up your Taoist heart. After she achieved her goal, that man became her greatest secret. Lin Yu gestured for Lu Yanqing to pour another cup of tea for him. He smiled and said, a dead man is the best at keeping secrets. Isn't that so? A woman's heart is the most vicious, Lu Yanqing said coldly. The man who had let her down was dead. She was not so jealous anymore. However, her hatred for Jiang Qingying had deepened. Actually, you should thank Jiang Qingying. If it wasn't for her, you wouldn't be able to see the true face of that man. Lin Yu smiled and said, it's better for him to betray you earlier than to betray you after getting your body. It doesn't matter. All men are the same. Lu Yanqing looked as if she had seen through the world of mortals. Lin Yu knew that she wanted to focus on her career. Since that's the case, let's get back to the topic. Lin Yu continued, I can give you the 3 lives glass bead. My men can also help you get rid of Jiang Qingying when you admire the flowers tomorrow. As for whether you dare to do it or not, it's up to you. After he finished his sentence, Lu Yanqing fell into silence. It's too risky. You're not reliable. Lu Yanqing looked at Lin Yu doubtfully. Qin Wunyan, I don't even know who you are. Lin Yu put down the teacup in his hand. Based on this name, do you dare to do it? The teacup in his hand flew into the air. It formed 2 words. Lin Yu. Lu Yanqing's eyes widened. You really know him? Lin Yu did not belong to any force. However, he was the most popular person in the Sky Desert universe recently. Just based on the fact that the vast Abyss Sect Master was willing to spend 10 years to comprehend. This was enough to prove his power. I don't just know him. Chapter 603. Not only did they know each other, Lu Yanqing's expression changed again. Because she realized that when she said this, it meant that Lin Yu had something else to say that would surprise her. As expected, the next moment, Lin Yu tapped the back of his ears twice, and his disguise disappeared, revealing his original appearance. It was a face that was worth 10 years of comprehension in the great Emperor realm. You are Lin Yu. Lu Yan took in a few cold breaths. Even though she was an earthly sovereign, her cultivation became unstable at this moment. She took a step forward and grabbed Lin Yu's hand instinctively. It was as though she was grabbing the great Emperor's 10 years of comprehension. Are you really Lin Yu? Lu Yanqing looked at his face again. There was no mistake. His current appearance was Lin Yu's original appearance. There were no signs of disguise. Rumor has it that Lin Yu is in Songling Dao world now. Why are you here now? Lu Yanqing asked again. How can you guess what I do? Lin Yu stood with his hands behind his back. Since he was so famous now, he might as well keep a high profile. Only then would he be worthy of his fame. Lu Yanqing listened attentively. Lin Yu continued, "If it was so easy for you to guess my whereabouts, then Tsang Yuan wouldn't have spent so much effort to capture me." Lu Yanqing felt that it made sense. He patted her shoulder. Lu Yanqing did not dodge. It seemed that being patted on the shoulder by a famous big shot would not make her feel like she was being taken advantage of by a man. Instead, she felt honored. "Do you know why I'm showing my true appearance to you?" "Say." "Senior, please tell me." Lu Yanqing swallowed. He was different from the people in Songling Dao world. The people there only had information about Lin Yu that his cultivation base was average. However, the people in Jade Silk Dao world had a higher opinion of Lin Yu, including, he was someone who gave the great emperor a headache. He was a young genius who had 10 years of comprehension in the great emperor realm. He was the #1 person below the great emperor realm of balance. There were many legends. It was enough for Lu Yanqing to call him senior. He thought of how Lin Yu had killed Ji Wuchang and his group of people from the Seven Fiends Hall of the Netherworld. Lu Yanqing suddenly felt. The person who appeared in front of him was a demon king. Swallowing his saliva, Lin Yu smiled faintly and said, "Even the great emperor can't see through the way I do things. But I can see that your bones are amazing. You are a 1-in-a-million cultivation genius." Listen carefully. Lu Yanqing's heart beat even faster. It was as if he had been praised by a peerless big shot. Initially, she had wanted to capture Lin Yu on the spot and send him to the vast Abyss Dao world for a reward. However, Lu Yanqing quickly dispelled the thought of seeking death. This man. He was someone who Dao Lords were willing to sacrifice 10 years of their comprehension just to capture. How could a mere Earth sovereign like her be greedy? Unfortunately, the matter between you and Jiang Qingying has caused your natural talent to be buried slightly. I've already made my intentions clear. Now that I've given you an opportunity, it's up to you to grasp it. Senior. Lu Yanqing only felt that her throat was extremely dry. If she had used Qin Wunyan's identity to make the deal, Lu Yanqing might have hesitated. However, the person she was working with now was Lin Yu. The huge difference made Lu Yanqing change her mind immediately. "Senior, I agree." "Very good." Lin Yu nodded satisfactorily. "You just have to wait for my signal to admire the flowers tomorrow." "I understand." However, after this matter is settled, Lu Yanqing was still somewhat worried. It was mainly because Lin Yu's reputation was too great. Lu Yanqing was worried that she would be in danger if she worked with such a person. The next moment, the latter hugged Lu Yanqing's willowy waist. When she wanted to resist, she was shocked to find that Lin Yu's strength was unusually great. "Senior, you are a combat cultivator. I have many secrets that you don't know. Remember, I'm working with you. After this matter is settled, you will be the only tower master of the glazed moon stepping tower. Do you understand?" Lin Yu stared at Lu Yanqing's eyes with an invasive gaze. The latter could only dodge. She lowered her head and nodded a few times. "I understand. I'll take my leave then." Lin Yu let go of her. Lu Yanqing bowed and prepared to leave. However, she was stopped by Lin Yu again. "I have one more thing for you to do." He transmitted his voice and Zhang Qingxue appeared immediately. After Lin Yu said that, Zhang Qingxue took out the hairpin inlaid with the 3 lives colored glass bead. "Master." Zhang Qingxue handed it over with both hands. She also saw Lu Yanqing who was beside Lin Yu. Her heart was beating very fast. This person was the high and mighty second tower master of the glazed moon stepping tower. Why would she appear in Master's room? So the person on the bed just now was her? "You can leave first," Lin Yu said. Zhang Qingxue suppressed the curiosity in her heart. She would not ask too much. If it was time for her to know, Lin Yu would take the initiative to tell her. He would not tell her now. It could only mean that it was not the right time yet. Zhang Qingxue closed the door carefully. Lu Yanqing asked anxiously, "Will she spread our secret?" My people are more reliable than anyone else, Lin Yu said indifferently. His tone was calm, but it was frightening to Lu Yanqing. It was like an emperor speaking to his new subject. As expected, this lad was very powerful. I understand. Lu Yanqing suddenly thought of the beautiful girl who was caught by the glazed moon stepping tower. It turned out that she was Lin Yu's woman. This time, Jiang Qingying and Hong Binglu had really kicked an iron plate. Fortunately, I did not take action. Lu Yanqing secretly rejoiced. The next moment, Lin Yu handed the hairpin to her. If you only rely on the 3 lives colored glass beads, I'm afraid you will need a few more days to recover from your injuries. Lin Yu touched his chin and thought of an idea. Fine. Since you and I are fated to meet, I'll give you a chance. Lin Yu stood with his hands clasped behind his back. He had an unfathomable expression. This made Lu Yanqing even more excited. Lie down on the bed first. I'll check your injuries. After saying that, Lin Yu placed the 3 lives colored glass beads in Lu Yanqing's hand. This made Lu Yanqing feel warm. They had not started working together, and he had already given her the treasure. How could Lu Yanqing not feel happy about Lin Yu's actions? I am just lending it to you. You have to return it to my person. After all, I have already given it to her. Seeing that this woman's emotions were fluctuating because of him, Lin Yu reminded her. He was afraid that she would misunderstand. After hearing this, Lu Yanqing suddenly felt that Lin Yu's image had become even more noble. This was a man with principles. Senior, is that so? Lu Yanqing lay on Lin Yu's bed. The latter walked to the side of the bed. Take off your clothes. This, Lu Yanqing's expression changed immediately. You are only taking off your outer clothes. How can I check through so many clothes? Phew, Lu Yanqing heaved a sigh of relief. She could accept the outer clothes. Chapter 604. He removed the purple robe that symbolized his identity as the Tower Master of the glazed moon-stepping tower. Lin Yu stretched out his hand and pressed on Lu Yanqing's Tianshu acupoint. She only felt a stab of pain. Senior, please be gentle. Lu Yanqing couldn't help but say. It seems that your energy C is injured. Lin Yu changed a few more acupoints. Guanyuan acupoint. Qihai acupoint. Lu Yanqing was not in as much pain as before. Senior, why did it only hurt for the first time? Many things are like this, Lin Yu said casually. Lu Yanqing was stunned. She suddenly thought of something and her face burned. I roughly know where your injury is. Lin Yu retracted his hand and gestured for her to sit up. Your injury is very serious. If you don't treat it immediately, it might affect your breakthrough to the heavenly supreme level in the future. Lu Yanqing's body trembled. On the path of martial arts, one's future progress was their life. If Lu Yanqing was told that she could not break through in the future, it was no different from taking her life. Senior, what should I do? She could choose not to believe what others said. However, the person who spoke was Lin Yu. She had no choice but to believe him. I have a cultivation technique that can help you heal. If it is used together with the 3 lives glazed pearl, you should be able to recover to your peak tomorrow, and even increase your skills greatly. Lu Yanqing felt as if she had received a treasure. She tugged at Lin Yu's sleeve. Senior, please teach me. She was full of admiration. This person was indeed a man that even the vast Abyss Sect Master could not deal with. If you really want to learn, you have to listen to me in the future. It will be the same even if you become the Tower Master of the glazed moon-stepping tower. Lu Yanqing was not a fool. How could she not understand what he meant? Shortly after, she got down from the bed and knelt down in front of Lin Yu. Disciple Lu Yanqing greets Master. I have strict requirements for accepting disciples. Are you sure you want to be my disciple? Lin Yu looked down. Lu Yanqing nodded. Master has said that I will definitely satisfy your requirement. Very good. Get up. Lin Yu helped her up and smiled in his heart. Zhang Qingshua's power was improving slowly and Lu Yanqing was the best candidate to harmonize the laws of nature. Get on the bed, Master will teach you how to cultivate. Lin Yu spoke again. Lu Yanqing felt that something was amiss, but she was still overjoyed. Today was like a dream. She had only wanted to obtain the 3 lives colored glass bead, but she had not only obtained it, she had also become the disciple of the famous Lin Yu. According to what Lin Yu said, he still had to take down Jiang Qingying tomorrow and take revenge. This great kindness was enough for Lu Yanqing to be loyal and obedient to Lin Yu. The first step is to interlock your fingers, Lin Yu said as he raised his hands. This was the first time Lu Yanqing had physical contact with a man. Moreover, she had already done it with Lin Yu several times today. However, when she thought about how the other party was her master and was treating her injuries, Lu Yanqing scolded herself. Master is treating your injuries. What are you thinking? After convincing herself, Lu Yanqing's slender fingers, which were slightly cold, interlocked with Lin Yu's fingers. In the next moment, she felt a strong and domineering masculine yang energy coming from Lin Yu's palm. It's so hot. Lu Yanqing immediately closed her eyes. At the same time, her aura was forming in her body. What is this feeling? Lu Yanqing felt her whole body going numb. Her yin energy was mobilized by Lin Yu's law of harmony. The 3 lives colored glass bead also separated from the hairpin and floated in front of the 2 of them. Lin Yu and Lu Yanqing quickly entered a state of cultivation. Compared to Zhang Qingxue, Lu Yanqing's supreme cultivation allowed Lin Yu to unleash his full strength. The power of the 3 lives become one erupted. Lin Yu made use of Lu Yanqing's supreme cultivation to balance the 3 lives become one. When the 9 luminaries' golden pill was restored to its perfect state, he would be able to step into the second heaven. At this very moment, Lu Yanqing only felt that the power from Lin Yu was extremely strong. It was actually on par with her power that was operating with all her strength. As expected, her master was not an ordinary person in the law realm. Lu Yanqing remembered that night when she and Hong Binglu attacked together. They were still unable to take down Lin Yu. This was enough to show how strong the other party's real combat power was below the law realm. The cultivation lasted for a day and a night. When Lin Yu opened his eyes again, Lu Yanqing was ready to leave. At this moment she was refreshed. She did not look as pale as yesterday. Lin Yu was even more so. The backlash caused by the imbalance of the 3 lives become one had been temporarily suppressed. Thank you, Master. Lu Yanqing clasped her fists and returned the 3 lives colored glass bead to Lin Yu. Go and prepare. Don't give yourself away for the time being. Lin Yu instructed. Lu Yanqing nodded and became more excited. Jiang Qingying, it has been so many years. It's time to settle the score with you. After Lu Yanqing left, Zhang Qingxue and the 10 Supreme Masters came. Master, let's set off. Okay. Lin Yu nodded. Everyone had already arrived at the square. This time, the city gate between the square and the glazed moon stepping tower had been opened. People from Tianhun sect and Earth Fire Burning Pavilion came to the training hall. Lin Yu even saw the feminine Dao Feng from yesterday in the crowd. Interesting. Lin Yu smiled. Emo Xian from Tianhun sect looked over. There was a strange look in her eyes. However, Lin Yu did not care about this, because he knew that Ling Chongfeng was also looking at him. I don't know if you can't help but come and snatch the 9 luminaries' golden pill if I reveal a flaw. Lin Yu raised the corner of his mouth. Whether or not he could continue to cooperate with Tianhun sect would depend on Ling Chongfeng's performance. At this moment, the back of the square was suddenly in an uproar. The earth shook. A huge black shadow came from the glazed moon stepping tower behind the square. The black shadow was 1,000 feet tall. Every step it took, there was a violent vibration. Even the people in the square who were quite a distance away. Everyone was also attracted by this vibration. Demonic beast, big demonic beast. Could it be the guardian demonic beast of the glazed moon-stepping tower? I haven't seen it for so many years. I wonder how big that thing has grown. The black shadow approached. First, it revealed a thick elephant trunk. As it walked, the elephant trunk swept casually, and it actually caused a storm. Big land demonic beast, yak elephant. Zhang Qingxue and the others looked nervous. When they took a closer look, that huge beast was a yak elephant with wings. However, the huge meat wings on its back seemed to be unable to take off on that cumbersome body. It was simply spread behind its back, but it was difficult to wave. This thing should have the combat power of a supreme master. It is indeed a supreme master demonic beast. Behind Linyu, the 10 supreme masters also quickly judged the strength of the yak elephant. At this moment, on top of the yak elephant, surprisingly, there was an altar there. On the altar, a woman knelt in front of it. At this moment, her head was lowered, and her body was covered in blood. Chapter 605. Every time the yak elephant stomped on the ground, it would cause the ground to tremble violently. As for the woman on the elephant wings, the chains around her body tightened a little as she trembled. Her hands, legs, and neck were all shackled with heavy black chains. She could not move. She could only lower her head and bear the pain silently. As for her body, there were tens of bloody wounds on it. As Lu Yanqing had said, she had gone through the cruelest punishment of the glazed moon treading tower. She had not told them how to activate the sky-reflecting mirror. The final punishment of the glazed moon treading tower was to drag out a beautiful woman in front of a large crowd and expose her to the public. By doing so, the people who would be attracted to her would be none other than those lechers who coveted her beauty. The ultimate goal of the glazed moon treading tower was to destroy her chastity. The most irreparable harm to a girl was to destroy her chastity. Master, is she the one we want to save? Zhang Qingxue's breathing quickened. Even though they were quite a distance away, she could still feel the pain of the girl on the yak. The glazed moon treading tower is too inhumane. I heard that Jiang Qingying is ruthless. It seems that it is true. What is so attractive about the silver-white mirror that Jiang Qingying would be so shameless? They have put in a lot of effort to make this year's Flower Appreciation Festival start with this girl. While the crowd was discussing, they saw the 9-colored flame burning fiercely behind the girl in crimson clothes. It was obvious. It was an altar. The 9-colored flame danced on the altar, emitting a terrifyingly high temperature. Even though they were far away, the crowd could feel the scorching heat. Even the yak on the back of the altar looked uncomfortable. From time to time, it would howl in pain. Above the 9-colored flame, a silver-white mirror with a diameter of 10 feet was suspended in the air. Even though it was in the 9-colored flame, the silver mirror did not seem to have any reaction. It was still extremely transparent. However, the surface of the mirror was visibly cracking. Is that the mirror that the glazed moon treading tower wants us to unlock? What kind of treasure can a broken mirror be? Is the glazed moon treading tower sick? Of course not. I heard that this thing has been burning for a whole month, but there is still no change. 9-colored flame is the hottest flame in the jade silk world. The 9 luminaries' golden elixir can only be refined using it. No other treasure can last so long under the 9-colored flame, Yi Futian said. It seems that the silver mirror is not as simple as it seems. No wonder the glazed moon treading tower is making such a big fuss to unravel the secret of the silver mirror. At this moment, the yak had already arrived at the square. The disciples of the glazed moon treading tower around the yak elephant stopped in their tracks and waited. Below, Tianhun sect, Lin Yu's camp, Earth Fire Heaven Burning Pavilion. Dozens of smaller sects and factions also remained silent as they looked towards the back of the square. In the sky above, the 3 figures stepped through the air. Originally, they were still thousands of feet away. However, the three of them had shrunk the ground into inches. With a single step, they had already arrived on top of the yak. They were scattered around the altar. On the right, Hong Binglu looked down with an indifferent expression. On the left, Lu Yanqing pretended that she had not recovered from her injuries. She deliberately applied some white makeup on her face. At this moment, she also glanced at Lin Yu. She remembered that after Lin Yu had checked her body yesterday, her cultivation had completely recovered. Lu Yanqing's gratitude was beyond words. Everyone, between the two of them, a cold-looking woman who seemed unapproachable spoke slowly. Her voice rang out. Everyone felt a sense of crisis in their cultivation base. This was because the person who had spoken was the Glazed Moon Treading Tower's first tower master, the Heavenly Supreme, Jiang Qingying. Jiang Qingying was dressed in a golden robe, which was obviously of a higher quality than what Lu Hong and Lu Yanqing were wearing. She stood with her hands clasped behind her back, looking down at the crowd. Her tone was emotionless. I will personally host the third round of the Flower Appreciation Festival. Jiang Qingying raised her hand, pointed at little Mimi and said, My disciple betrayed the sect and obtained the silver mirror treasure under my guidance. With a sigh, Jiang Qingying seemed to have expected better from her, and she continued, But this inferior disciple was selfish and refused to tell us the chant to unlock the seal of the sect's precious treasure. Today, I've invited everyone here to see who can unlock the secret of the silver mirror and allow my inferior disciple to understand where she went wrong. A few high-sounding words made everyone think that Jiang Qingying was the victim. This girl is lucky to have Tower Master Jiang as her master. She actually doesn't know how to cherish it. Haha, if I had such a good master like the first Tower Master, I would have given the treasure to my master immediately. This girl should be taught a lesson. Stupid girl, what are you waiting for? Tell us how to unlock the silver mirror now. Everyone was angry and scolded little Mimi in unison. The latter only lowered her head, as if she could not hear these harsh words at all. Half of her face was covered by her hair. In addition to the bloodstains on her face, her appearance should not be seen clearly. However, how could that delicate outline and the fair and translucent skin beside the bloodstains escape the eyes of the men below? Especially Ling Changfeng, whose eyes were wide open at this moment. She is even more beautiful than my junior sister. There is actually such a stunning beauty in the world. Ling Changfeng swallowed and glanced at Lin Yu from the corner of his eye, revealing a cold, murderous intent. If he was asked to give up such a beautiful woman, Ling Changfeng could not do it at all. On the other hand, Lin Yu's side did not care about Ling Changfeng's thoughts. It was just that he had been wondering why little Mimi had become a disciple of the Glazed Moon Treading Tower. Now that he thought it through, this disciple status was just a reason that Jiang Qingying wanted to save her face and forcibly added it. Everyone is free to come up. I will give this disciple to whoever can unlock the silver mirror's seal. Jiang Qingying spoke again and at the same time, reached out her right hand and slapped little Mimi's face. Smack. Stupid disciple, this is your last chance. If you don't tell me the truth, today will be the anniversary of your death. She snorted coldly and took a few steps back. She also motioned for the others to come up at any time. They would use any method to find out the way to unlock the seal. Who will go first? This thing can't even be refined by the 9-colored flame. It seems that it is impossible to open it by force. Then you know that the stunning beauty will tell you the way. Pity such a beautiful woman. She is going to be ours today. The next moment. Immediately, 3 big men flew up onto the yak elephant's back. They sneered, their eyes full of greed. The leader bowed and asked Jiang Qingying, Head Tower Master, can we use any method? Of course. Jiang Qingying nodded without hesitation. Behind her, Lu Yanqing looked nervous and was still waiting for Lin Yu's instructions. Her heart was also in her throat. If she really fought with Jiang Qingying, there would be no turning back. Then we won't stand on ceremony. The three big men could not help but rub their fists and move closer to little Mimi. Pretty girl, your big brothers are here. Either you tell us the method to unlock the seal, or your big brothers will make that thing of yours speak. In the blink of an eye, the three of them were already in front of little Mimi. They were 5 feet away. 4 feet. 3 feet. The leader reached out, wanting to grab little Mimi's shoulder and take off her clothes. However, when his arm was 7 inches away from little Mimi, it broke. A black scythe slashed across the air in front of him. Chapter 606. Blood splattered. The 3 burly men were shocked. They only sensed that this was the first time in their lives that they had encountered such a strong life and death crisis. The moment they wanted to retreat, the Grim Reaper had already drowned the 3 of them. Astonishment. This scene happened too quickly. Not many people could react in time. Only a small number of people, Jiang Qingying, Lu Yanqing, Hong Binglu, Ling Chongfeng, and the Archemperor, looked in the direction of the black sickle. It was a young man who had been calm since the beginning. However, he slowly lowered his hand at this moment. Step by step, he was approaching the yak elephant. Qin Wunyan. That kid dared to kill. Did you see his attack just now? Why couldn't I see it clearly at all? While everyone was puzzled, Lin Yu had already arrived below the yak elephant. His eyes were like an ancient well without ripples, clear and calm. At this moment, his eyes met the eyes of the beautiful woman on the yak elephant with her head lowered. He did not look like Lin Yu. However, at this moment, the heart of the girl on the yak elephant was already trembling violently. Appearances could change. However, she would never be wrong about this look. Lin Yu, leave quickly. Little Mimi's tears kept glistening. She knew her current situation. Before coming out of the Tao world of Fang, the strongest existence she had faced was only the first on the blacklist who had just become an Earth Supreme. However, after leaving the Tao world of Fang, especially when she was captured and brought to the glazed moon treading tower, only then did she know that there were people beyond the heavens. The 3 tower lords here. All of them were stronger than the first on the blacklist, especially the heavenly supreme Jiang Qingying. People of this level were not people Lin Yu could deal with. She did not want Lin Yu to take the risk. Go. Little Mimi did not make a sound. However, Lin Yu was familiar with the shape of her mouth and the shape of the word. She believed that Lin Yu would be able to see it. However, Lin Yu did not stop. He stepped into the air and approached her. You brat, why are you so reckless now? Hurry up and leave. Little Mimi was so agitated that she wanted to persuade Lin Yu to leave, but her injuries were too severe. Even when she opened her mouth, she could only speak in a hoarse and unclear voice. Lin Yu quickly approached little Mimi. However, at this moment, at the bottom of the square, a divine sense cultivation technique suddenly bombarded him. Lin Yu reacted quickly, and the wings on his back turned golden. His entire body was enveloped in the light of the golden-winged rock, and he clashed head-on with the divine sense attack. Rumble! The sound was deafening. Only then did everyone recover from the sudden outbreak of the battle. In the direction of the Tianhun school, a figure clapped his hands and looked at Lin Yu as if he was looking at a dead man. Young Master Qin, it's hard to find a beauty. Why don't you let me play with you? The one who attacked was the junior headmaster of the Tianhun school, Ling Chongfeng. Zhang Qingxue looked over. She was worried about Lin Yu, and her heart tightened. As expected, his master was right. This lecher couldn't move once he saw a beautiful woman. He was openly destroying the cooperation between him and Lin Yu. Senior brother, Mo Xian gritted her teeth. Do you know what you're doing? Junior sister, don't be anxious. Ling Chongfeng sneered. That Qin Wunyan was hit by my Tianhun attack first, and his divine sense has been severely injured by me. Senior brother will kill him and snatch the 9 luminaries' golden pill back. Ling Chongfeng seemed to have thought of his harvest. At that time, the 9 luminaries' golden pill will be mine, and the beauty will also be mine, ha ha ha. As he spoke, Ling Chongfeng's figure exploded again, turning into a series of afterimages, and attacked Lin Yu again. He concluded. The unexpected move just now had already hit Lin Yu. Even if someone as strong as the Arch-Emperor was hit by this move, his head would probably be buzzing. Let alone this trash in the law realm? Kid, no one can snatch a woman in front of me. Ling Chongfeng raised his palm, overflowing with murderous intent toward Lin Yu, who seemed to be in a bad state. Die for me. His cultivation transformed into divine sense and gathered in his palm. It was the strongest killing move of the Tianhun sect. Master, don't worry, 7th young master, the envoy is fine. The 10 supremes held back Zhang Qingxue, who almost rushed out. But Zhang Qingxue and little Mimi, Lu Yanqing, they were all shocked by Ling Chongfeng's sneak attack. But in the next moment, Lin Yu, who had his head lowered and seemed to be unable to recover after being hit by Ling Chongfeng, smiled. Isn't it good to be alive? A calm sentence entered Ling Chongfeng's ears. In an instant, he only felt that his whole body was cold from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet. It was a trap. Ling Chongfeng was not a fool. He immediately withdrew his move and retreated. However, the air wall blocked his path of retreat. It was a wall of golden light, and on the wall of qi, there were complex lines that gradually lit up. As the patterns lit up, they emitted Buddhist chants, which spread endlessly toward Ling Chongfeng. Every Buddhist voice was a type of divine will rumbling. Everyone outside could only see that a huge golden bell suddenly appeared around Ling Chongfeng and Lin Yu. The golden bell spun rapidly, setting off countless cyclones, and Ling Chongfeng was inside. His divine sense had been bombarded like never before. Let me out. Other than the Garuda, it was the third part of the 8 great void divisions, the invincible divine sense technique of the Garuda. At this moment, Ling Chongfeng was inside. Here. It was the forbidden zone of Garuda's divine sense. Only one person could survive in this place. That was the user of Garuda's divine sense technique, Lin Yu. Ling Chongfeng gradually narrowed his eyes. Since the Garuda started to operate, he did not even have a chance to attack. If you were an Earth Supreme level divine cultivator, you might be able to escape. Lin Yu said lightly. It's a pity that the Tianhun sect's divine will cultivation method is just trash. He finished his sentence. Ling Chongfeng was already kneeling on the ground in front of him. We are partners. From the moment you attacked me, we were no longer partners. Lin Yu turned around. Ling Chongfeng thought that the other party would let him go. After all, he was the young master of Tianhun sect, the future master of Tianhun sect. Others had to give him face. But Ling Chongfeng had forgotten Ji Wuchang's lesson. The next moment, a devouring force came from inside the golden bell. That was the divine sense great emperor's soul-devouring technique. No. His divine sense was devoured. Between Lin Yu's eyebrows, an even more complicated talisman could be vaguely seen, which was shining at this moment. Ling Chongfeng's divine sense was completely sucked into this talisman by the soul-devouring technique. Go ahead and get the power you need, Lin Yu murmured. Inside the golden bell, others could not see what was happening. However, those mournful cries continued to shake their minds. Especially the people of Tianhun sect. They naturally recognized that it was Ling Chongfeng's cry. But they did not dare to attack. Even Mo Xianxian, who was leading, did not make a move. Chapter 607. Senior Sister, are we really not going to save Junior Master? Junior Master and Qin Wunyan had a fair fight. Junior Master has already ambushed Qin Wunyan and won. What happens next has nothing to do with us, Mo Xianxian said. The others immediately understood. If they couldn't win with a sneak attack, The Heavenly Soul Sect didn't have the face to attack again. And they could tell. Mo Xianxian didn't want to save Ling Changfeng, because the other party was Mo Xianxian's biggest and most unfair competitor. The devouring power of the talisman began to operate. Ling Changfeng's cultivation was constantly being sucked into the talisman. This was what Lin Yu discovered after obtaining the talisman. This thing needed to be charged. Once it was fully charged, it might help him find the whereabouts of the other 3 talismans. And even if it wasn't fully charged, Lin Yu could still use the devouring power of the talisman. Just like Ling Changfeng's supreme will. If the attribute was suitable, it might make up for the flaw of the 9 luminaries' golden pill. Soon, the Buddha Garuda disappeared. Only Ling Changfeng was left behind Lin Yu. Ling Changfeng didn't seem to have changed. His divine will was destroyed by the soul-devouring technique and the Buddha Garuda, and his cultivation was completely absorbed by the talisman. Ling Changfeng was already deader than dead, but Lin Yu had his back facing him the whole time. Ling Changfeng's storage ring had been taken away by him. This person didn't even have the interest to kill and rob. Lin Yu's gaze met little Mimi's, and he stepped on the air again. But in the next moment, the person in front of him. It was the 3rd Pavilion Master, Hong Binglu. You are indeed the thief from that night. Hong Binglia's stern voice sounded. Trespassing into the forbidden area of the glazed moon stepping tower, you deserve to die. What's going on? The glazed moon stepping tower actually went against Qin Wunyan? That kid is too overbearing. Even the glazed moon stepping tower can't stand it anymore? While everyone was discussing, in the direction of the earthly flame heaven-burning pavilion, the Archemperor's huge body stepped on the ground, and a huge crater appeared in the square. With that, the Archemperor shot toward Lin Yu at top speed. 3rd floor master, let me help you take down this little thief. Hong Binglu and the Archemperor were both paragons. Lin Yu's expression didn't even change. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. He spoke slowly. His voice wasn't loud, but the 10 great supremes heard it. The Archemperor also heard what was being said. These 3 people were the ones who killed Ji Wuchang. Sure enough, 3 of the 10 great supremes made a move. Lin Yu slowly pointed at the Archemperor. He was ordering the 3 of them to work together to deal with the Archemperor. Damn it, why didn't you go deal with Hong Binglu? As the Archemperor slowed down, he saw that 7, 8, and 9 were all attacking at the same time. Number 8 and number 9 attacked him crazily. Number 7 went to fight the other disciples of the earthly fire heaven-burning pavilion. As for the yaks, they were halfway through their journey. Lin Yu faced Hong Binglu. He said the second sentence. Number 5 and number 6, keep them alive. What the hell are you talking about? Hong Binglia's eyes went wide as she looked in the direction of the Archemperor. She had gathered some information about Ji Wuchang's death, but now that she was seeing it with her own eyes, she couldn't help but feel nervous. As of this moment, the Archemperor was facing off against 2 people who were only in the realm of laws, and yet, he was at a disadvantage. You're still in the mood to look around? Suddenly, a terrifying force swept toward her from behind. It moved with such speed that Hong Binglu, despite being an Earth paragon, had no time to dodge. Shockingly, the attacker was also an Earth paragon. Lin Yu had given the title of number 5, an old man in ordinary gray robes. Next to him was another person, a cold expression on his face. Emperor Munchaser, be careful you don't kill him. The emissary said that we could take him alive. That person warned him. Lin Yu had given him the title of number 6. The obstacles in front of him had been cleared. Lin Yu walked over to little Mimi. I'm here. His voice was calm. There was no emotion. But to little Mimi, that was the most reassuring thing she had heard since they parted. In an instant, 2 streaks of tears flowed out of little Mimi's clear eyes. At first, she had been worried about Lin Yu, But when she saw the Archemperor and Hong Binglu being suppressed by Lin Yu's people, little Mimi knew. During this time, Lin Yu had become even stronger. This young man would always walk in front of everyone in the Tao world. He was like a ray of light guiding them in the dark universe. At this moment, as Lin Yu approached, the heaven-reflecting mirror began to vibrate. There, a vague consciousness was sending a signal to Lin Yu. "Old friend, it seems you still need some time." Lin Yu smiled faintly. No one knew who he was talking to. But when the voice came, the heaven-reflecting mirror stopped vibrating. Lin Yu pulled little Mimi into his arms. The Emperor's sword in his other hand was unsheathed and instantly cut off the shackles on her hands and feet. Little Mimi regained her freedom. But she still lay weakly in Lin Yu's arms. Below, Zhang Qingxue, Dao Feng, and countless others were watching this scene. Everyone knew very well. This beautiful woman belonged to Lin Yu. At this moment, little Mimi only felt that Lin Yu's arms were the safest place in the universe. At the same time, the glazed moon stepping tower's first tower master, Jiang Qingying, cast a murderous gaze. "You can unlock the mirror." Jiang Qingying slowly walked over and approached Lin Yu. Her supreme will also soared at the same time. 1 will. Metal-type supreme will. 2 will. Wood-type supreme will. 3 will. Water-type supreme will. 4 will. Fire-type supreme will. 5 will. Earth-type supreme will. 5 elements as one. She was a 1-star sky supreme. "Tell me how to open it." Jiang Qingying and Lin Yu were less than 3 feet apart. There was a hint of command and warning in her tone. "I can leave your corpse intact." This was the aura of a woman who had been in a high position for a long time and instinctively ignored everything. "Lin Yu, she is very powerful," little Mimi said worriedly. However, Lin Yu's lips curled into a smile. He said something that puzzled Jiang Qingying. "Aren't you going to attack?" As soon as he finished his words, suddenly, behind Jiang Qingying, 4 terrifying Supreme Will attacked at the same time. 4-star Earth Supreme. Lu Yanqing unleashed all her combat abilities. Her first attack was a sure kill move. "Slut, how dare you betray me?" Jiang Qingying's face was ghastly pale. However, there was excitement on her face. There was no fear at all. This was because her Sky Supreme skills were the source of her confidence. She faced Lu Yanqing in one move. Although Jiang Qingying had made the first move, Lu Yanqing still retreated a few steps. She was at a disadvantage with just one move. This was the difference between a Sky Supreme and an Earth Supreme. Although it was just a Supreme Will. However, the difference was in the 5 elements. However, at the same time, Lin Yu shouted the second sentence. Number 0. Chapter 608. The 10 Supreme Supremes were named according to the strength that Lin Yu judged. Number 0. He was the strongest among the 10 Supreme Supremes. He was also the only heavenly Supreme. When Lin Yu said number 0, Jiang Qingying's expression changed drastically. Her 5 strands of 9 heavens' supreme will began to vibrate. This was the mutual fear between heavenly sovereigns. "Who exactly are you?" Jiang Qingying's eyes widened. Her confidence in strategizing just now was shaken at this moment. A heavenly supreme was present, and he stood on the opposite side of her. The outcome of this battle was hard to predict. Behind Lin Yu, a burly old man walked over slowly. He was given the name number 0. He was the strongest person that Lin Yu had brought this time. Jiang Qingying pushed Lu Yanqing back with a palm, but she was instantly enveloped by the old man's aura again. The old man had many wrinkles on his face, but at this moment, his upper body was burning without fire, revealing incomparably strong muscles. His combat body was strong and was actually not inferior to the young Archemperor. "I am number 0, also the Emperor of the Tsong-Ling Dao world's undying dynasty, Fun Tian. On the orders of the emissary, I am here to take your life." His words were the same as Jiang Qingying's. Metal, wood, water, fire, earth. Number 0 raised his hand, and his cultivation was activated to the extreme. In an instant, the sky changed color. The wind and clouds in the sky rolled down. It converged with the 5 supremes to form a palm force. This palm force was earth-shattering and instantly enveloped the entire glass moon treading tower. A dignified heavenly supreme actually obeys the orders of a brat who is still wet behind the ears. You have lost all the dignity of a heavenly supreme. Jiang Qingying's angry voice sounded. She raised her hands, and the 5 elements supremes also condensed. However, she did not forget to use words to disturb the other party's Dao heart. If it were at the beginning when they left the Tsangling Dao world, number 0 might be a little dissatisfied with Lin Yu. However, Lin Yu could automatically see the strength ranking of the 10 supremes at a glance. After coming to the glass moon treading tower, the various decisions made were enough for number 0 to be sure that Lin Yu was qualified to order them. Those who know him are afraid of his extraordinariness. What's the harm in killing those who don't know him? 0 sneered. Only those who knew Lin Yu knew how powerful he was. And he didn't understand. Lin Yu didn't care. As for people like Ji Wuchang and Ling Chongfeng, Lin Yu really didn't like them, so why not kill them? Haha, it's been a long time since I've met someone more arrogant than my glazed moon treading tower. Jiang Qingying laughed harshly. The people from the Tsangling Dao world stepped on my Jade Silk Dao world. After I kill you, I will personally settle the score with the people from the Tsangling Dao world. With a burst of power, the 3 lives colored glass bead appeared between Jiang Qingying's eyebrows. It wasn't just one. There were 3 of them. She alone would forever possess 3 lives colored glass beads. 1,000 years. There was no less than 3,000 years worth of skill here. But even so, Zero's expression didn't change at all. He could tell from Lu Yanqing's betrayal. The emissary had already arranged everything. There was no one present who could defeat Lin Yu. Rumble. The battle between the upper sky supremes had begun. And below, Lin Yu ordered Lu Yanqing again. Kill Hong Binglu first. The voice came. At this moment, Lu Yanqing was already clear about Lin Yu's strength. This guy had hidden himself too deeply. He actually had the help of a heavenly supreme. No wonder he dared to make a move in the territory of the glazed moon treading tower. The 4 battlefields were on the verge of breaking out. The Supreme Realm. Hong Binglu was facing 4 Supreme Realm experts at the same time and was retreating. The Archemperor's side also couldn't hold on for long. Even if all the disciples of the earthly fire heaven burning pavilion attacked, the Archemperor didn't bring many people this time. At this moment, he suffered heavy losses and was also hit by number 8's fist. His battle body was greatly damaged, and he wanted to escape in a sorry state. But Lin Yu gave a death order. On the other side were the female disciples of the glazed moon treading tower. Including the woman who gave Lin Yu a coquettish look earlier, they were all intercepted by number 2 and number 3. These 2 were 4-star earthly sovereigns. They were only 1 step away from the heavenly supreme realm. After they attacked, the disciples of the glazed moon treading tower kept retreating. In the end, they were all suppressed. On the last battlefield, Jiang Qingying and number 0 were originally evenly matched. But as the other 3 parties won the battle, the 10 Supreme Realm experts and Lu Yanqing attacked at the same time. Jiang Qingying instantly became a lone fighter. At this moment, in front of Lin Yu, there was another young man. No one knew when he came to the yak. No one cared about him. This young man looked less than 20 years old, but he had a deep sense of coldness. In his hand was a big saber. The young man was only 5 feet tall. He was 2 heads shorter than Lin Yu, but the saber on his shoulder was longer than his body. "Don't you plan to attack?" the young man said indifferently, looking at Lin Yu. and he was the feminine Dao Feng who defeated many experts yesterday. I don't need to attack anymore, Lin Yu said casually. Even little Mimi, who was a half-step to earthly sovereign, felt a sense of crisis when she faced the feminine blade seal. This sense of crisis was no less than when facing Jiang Qingying. But Lin Yu was still casual. Little Mimi was sure that with Lin Yu's ability, he must have seen that the feminine Dao Feng was not ordinary. But since he was so calm, it meant that Lin Yu had a way to deal with him. The people of the glazed moon treading tower are no match for you, the feminine Dao Feng continued, but I can't let you snatch the person I want. His gaze fell on little Mimi. Little Mimi's heart tightened. But Lin Yu smiled. Don't worry, he's not talking about you. Little Mimi blinked. The feminine Dao Feng was also surprised and looked at Lin Yu. Do you know who I'm looking for? Jiang Qingying, Lin Yu said without thinking. At this moment, 10 earthly sovereigns attacked at the same time, and Jiang Qingying was defeated in less than 10 minutes. The sky regained its original color. Below, the heavenly sovereign Jiang Qingying, who was high and mighty just now, had her hands trapped by number 0 and number 1. Lu Yanqing took away her 3 glazed pearls, and number 8 also punched her, causing great damage to her combat body. Although her cultivation was strong, her combat body could not withstand more than a few blows when facing a Supreme Realm combat practitioner. Of course, if there were no other Supreme Realm combatants, number 8 would not be Jiang Qingying's match. Lu Yanqing, you dare to collude with outsiders and betray the sect. If Master knows, he will not let you off. Jiang Qingying stared at Lu Yanqing. In the battle just now, she had fought with all her might and hit herself the hardest. Slap. Lu Yanqing did not say anything, but raised her hand. A slap landed squarely on Jiang Qingying's face. This slap is because you seduced my man. As soon as she said that, Jiang Qingying's expression changed. The other female disciples who had been suppressed also had a little surprise on their originally frightened faces. The second house master betrayed the sect because the first house master seduced her man? Slap. A second slap sounded. This slap is because you took away my position. Lu Yanqing took a deep breath and suppressed the resentment in her heart. She also knew that it was not the time for her to give orders. She was the one who made the decision. Above the yak elephant. Master, Lu Yanqing bowed to Lin Yu. Jiang Qingying harmed Master's wife. Please punish her. Chapter 609. Master. Lu Yanqing's master was actually Qin Wunyan. As soon as he said that, the others were even more shocked. Especially Jiang Qingying, who was caught. She knew Lu Yanqing's character. She had never been convinced by anyone. Unexpectedly, she actually took the initiative to admit that the teenager in front of her was her master. If it was in the past, Lu Yanqing would definitely be mocked by others. The first person to think that she was crazy might be Jiang Qingying. But now, Lin Yu killed Hong Binglu and suppressed Jiang Qingying. This was the title of Lu Yanqing's master. The others had no choice but to accept it. Jiang Qingying's life. Lin Yu had just opened his mouth. The feminine Dao Feng at the side blocked in front of Lin Yu with the seemingly ordinary iron blade in his hand. I need this person. Can you give him to me? Seeing that Lin Yu was blocked, the 10 great supremes were about to attack. However, Lin Yu raised his hand and signaled them not to move. Let me talk to him, Lin Yu said gently. Little Mimi in his arms was also supported to the side by Zhang Qingshu. Lin Yu took out a large amount of glory bot and let Zhang Qingshu heal little Mimi. As for him, he smiled at the feminine Dao Feng and said, in this situation, do you have the confidence to take Jiang Qingying away from me? I admit that you're not bad. The feminine Dao Feng said faintly, however, the person who can make me lose the courage to attack has not been born yet. I can give anything a try. That's right. Lin Yu, on the other hand, was not angered by the other party's words. Instead, he smiled and said, "After so many years, the Killing Heart Palace finally has a good successor, right?" Turning his head, Lin Yu and the feminine Dao Feng's eyes met. "You know me?" The latter was obviously surprised. This was his first time leaving the Killing Heart Palace. Furthermore, the Killing Heart Palace was not in the Jade Silk world. Logically speaking, it was impossible for the people here to recognize him. Killing Heart Palace? He's from the Killing Heart Palace. Legend has it that the murderous Heart Palace was created by Saber Sovereign Gui Rulai, the strongest expert in the infinite Tao world. After establishing the murderous Heart Palace, Gui Rulai was also known as Buddha Murderous Heart. I didn't expect the people from the infinite Tao world to come to my Jade Silk Tao world. If it wasn't for Qin Wunyan recognizing him, we still wouldn't know? Everyone was talking about it. Even Jiang Qinying was a little surprised. Lin Yu's background was already a mystery. Now, there was actually another person from the Killing Heart Palace in the Endless Tao world. It's not hard to get to know you. After all, in the past 1,000 years of the Killing Heart Palace, the only person who was publicly acknowledged to be able to cultivate the Heaven Blade to the 8th extreme was the strongest person, Lord Killing Heart. Lin Yu chuckled. There's another person who managed to cultivate the Heavenly Blade to the 6th level at the age of 20. His talent is comparable to Gui Rulai in the Killer Heart Palace. Every word of his made that feminine Dao Feng's brows furrow even tighter. This person did not seem to be as simple as he had imagined. Even though he already felt that Lin Yu's move today was very extraordinary. Now, he was already a little surprised. Am I right, little master? Lin Yu finished his sentence. The others could not hear him. However, little master's heart tightened, and he could not help but smile. Interesting. I didn't expect to meet such a powerful person on my first trip out. Little master seemed to be excited. You're such an interesting person. I really don't want to be your enemy. Jiang Qinying is related to the whereabouts of my grandmaster. Please make things convenient for me. The grandmaster he was referring to was Lord Killing Heart. If you want to know Gui Rulai's whereabouts, you'd better listen to me. Lin Yu spoke again. Little master squinted his eyes slightly, and there was some surprise on his fair face. Why? Lin Yu said with a smile. Jiang Qinying knows Gui Rulai's whereabouts. You also know this, and I can tell you that this information is true. Little master swallowed his saliva. He was horrified. This kid even knew what information Killing Heart Palace had obtained? Sure enough, he had underestimated him. You're inexperienced, so you may not be able to find out Jiang Qinying's secret. Lin Yu continued, if you think about it carefully, you will know that Lord Killing Heart was able to compete with the Sword Emperor of Fang Yi Dao world. There are less than 10 people in the Heaven Desert universe who can be compared to the Sword Emperor and Sword Emperor. How could Jiang Qinying, a mere heavenly supreme, imprison such a powerful person? Little master did not speak, because he could not refute. Lin Yu's information was obviously not inferior to Killing Heart Palace's. Moreover, his analysis of the situation was more thorough than Killing Heart Palace's. If you let Jiang Qinying leave the glazed moonstepping tower rashly and alert the enemy, I'm afraid your grandmaster will really be in danger. As soon as he said that, the saber in Little Master's hand moved closer to Lin Yu. Is my grandmaster really still alive? Little Master suppressed his inner excitement and asked. Lin Yu smiled and calmed the 10 supreme martial artists again. At this moment, even Little Mimi and Zhang Qingxue were nervous for Lin Yu. After all, that seemingly ordinary saber had already landed on Lin Yu's neck. It could land at any time. Gui Rulai is naturally still alive. Otherwise, I would not have spared Jiang Qinying's life. Lin Yu smiled faintly. Now, do you still want to snatch her away? Your information and means are indeed better than mine. Although Little Master said so, there was still doubt on his face. Unfortunately, if it's as you said, how can you deal with someone who can imprison my martial ancestor better than me? Little Master took a few steps back and waved the saber in his hand. A strong wind formed an air wall. Your Excellency is not from the infinite Tao world, so I can't trust you easily. At least, if you can't even break my saber intent air wall, I will definitely take Jiang Qingying away today. Little Master and Lin Yu distanced themselves from each other. Interesting. Lin Yu muttered to himself. On the day he was trapped, he had dealt with Little Master several times, who had been extremely confident in his saber skills since he was a child. At this moment, Lin Yu closed 2 fingers on his right hand and held the saber horizontally across his arm. An invisible saber intent burst out from his arm at that instant. Using my hand as a saber, Little Master's pupils dilated. The next moment, Lin Yu swept his arm horizontally, and a terrifying saber intent suddenly formed. His arm was the sharpest saber at this moment. This is impossible. Little Master's eyes widened. At this moment, the saber in his hand actually had an instinctive impulse. He had the urge to compete with Lin Yu for the title. A saber technique appeared in Lin Yu's mind. It was in the infinite Tao world. It was a saber technique that most experts knew. However, even though many people knew about it, there were only a handful of people who had mastered this saber technique. In particular, those who could master the 3rd level and above were already very rare. The saber intent formed in Lin Yu's hand. It was an invisible saber intent that was 10,000 feet long, and it was directly slashed down by his arm. It was the realm-quaking saber technique of the infinite Tao world. Heavenly Saber, 6th move. Chapter 610. Lin Yu used the 6th move of the Sky Saber as soon as he attacked. This saber technique was wide open. Even though Lin Yu used his hand as a saber, it still displayed an extremely strong and fierce aura. Little Master waved the long saber in his hand again. Because the moment Lin Yu attacked, he already knew that his chi wall would not be able to withstand it. Even his current understanding of the Sky Saber had only reached the 7th move. Lin Yu's 6th move had already reached the point where he could not underestimate his opponent. The extremely domineering saber technique fell, setting off waves of chi that directly surged up. The surrounding airflow was stirred up. Those who were slightly closer to the battle, including Zhang Qingxue and Little Mimi, were the first to activate their defensive chi wall. It seemed that because Lin Yu was deliberately taking care of them, the saber-intent chi waves did not affect them too much. The 6th move of the Sky Saber instantly descended and slashed precisely on the 2 overlapping chi walls of Little Master. Rumble! Boom! 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 It was the sound of the space being violently rubbed against the power. Under the saber intent, the chi walls were shattered. The next moment, bang! The chi walls shattered. Little Master immediately took a step back. He avoided the remaining power of the 6th move of the Sky Saber. Lin Yu did not use the Eternal Law. If he did, the saber intent would be endless, and he would not be able to offset it so easily. Even so, Lin Yu's terror still deeply shocked Little Master. This was the 2nd time he had a new understanding of Lin Yu. The first time was when Lin Yu mentioned the relationship between Lord Sha Xian and Jiang Qingying. The 2nd time was now. Lin Yu's 6th move of the Sky Saber had exceeded Little Master's normal understanding. "Sir, are you also from the infinite Tao world?" Little Master's chi and blood surged. "No," Lin Yu said faintly. Little Master looked even more surprised. The saber technique of the Sky Saber was not a big secret in the infinite Tao world. It could be said that the Sky Saber was a public saber technique that everyone knew. However, not everyone could practice it. The difficulty of cultivating Skyblade is unimaginable. Since you have such attainments in Skyblade, it seems that you have put in a lot of effort. Little Master judged. Lin Yu rubbed his chin. It really took a lot of time. He remembered that on the day he was trapped, he should have reset himself 300,000 times before he cultivated his saber technique to an inestimable level. Naturally, Lin Yu did not only practice Skyblade. He also practiced many other blade techniques. These countless saber techniques came from all over the starry sky that Lin Yu could reach. Just like his swordsmanship, people from different universes had different levels of swordsmanship and saber techniques. As for Lin Yu himself, he didn't know what realm he had reached. In any case, this was the realm standard that they had set. Even Lin Yu could do it now. I started practicing the saber at the age of 3 and comprehended the Heavenly Saber's first style at the age of 5. Took me 16 years to reach my current level. Little Master murmured and looked at Lin Yu up and down. You don't seem to be 16 years old yet. I should be soon. Lin Yu waved his hand and dispersed the saber intent. However, the yak elephant below Lin Yu took most of the damage from the saber. At this moment, it spat out a large mouthful of blood in front of its huge head. The elephant leaned forward, and the whole altar slid down and smashed directly into the square. The power of Skyblade was enough to make this super demonic beast kneel down. Sure enough, he is not 16 years old yet. Little Master was shocked again. No matter how he counted, Lin Yu hadn't practiced the saber for as long as he had. However, Little Master couldn't figure out his realm at all. You have performed the 6th style of Skyblade, but you seem to have some understanding of the 7th style? Little Master could see that Lin Yu's 6th style already had the shadow of the 7th style. The 7th style, the 8th style, the 9th style. I seem to know a little bit of them. Lin Yu touched his chin and answered seriously. His words were as light as the wind and clouds. However, for Little Master, it was like a bolt from the blue that exploded in his mind. You know the 9th style of Skyblade? Little Master asked immediately. For thousands of years, it was said that only one person in Killer Heart Palace had mastered the 9th style, and that was Killer Heart Buddha Gue Rulai. I know a little bit. There should be more than 9 styles of Skyblade. Lin Yu spoke again. As soon as he said that, Little Master was even more shocked. The 9th style of Skyblade. It was a well-known thing in the Saber Seal of the Infinite Tao world. However, Lin Yu said that there were more than 9 styles of Skyblade? What do you mean? Little Master was eager to know the answer. However, Lin Yu spread his hands. Let's talk about this later. I have other things to deal with. This Lin Yu poured a basin of cold water on Little Master's head. Do you want to continue? Lin Yu asked in return. I said that I would trust you if you could break my chi wall. Now, not only did you do it, but your attainments in saber techniques are also far better than mine. How can I continue to be shameless? Little Master shook his head and said. He was not tactful in his character. In Lin Yu's memory, a talented saber seal like him was easier to get along with than those scheming people. Lin Yu nodded with a smile. Little Master continued, Grandmaster's matter is extremely important to me. I will still investigate it secretly. Of course, I promise that I won't take action unless it's necessary. That's enough. Lin Yu nodded. Little Master's current attitude was already very rare. If they were in the Infinite Tao world, Little Master would not be convinced by anyone except the former Saber King, Gue Rulai. Now, Lin Yu's impact on Little Master in a short period of time was enough. Little Master left sensibly. However, before leaving, there was still some desire in Little Master's eyes. Lin Yu's attainments in the Heaven Saber were unpredictable. And there were more than 9 moves in the Heaven Saber. It was a fatal attraction for Saber Seal. Everyone's eyes were still on Lin Yu. At this moment, Lin Yu looked down and ordered the former absolute ruler of the glazed moon-stepping tower, keep her alive. I have a use for her. His words were an absolute order now. The 10 Supreme Masters immediately detained Jiang Qinying, and the other people of the glazed moon stepping tower also lowered their heads, waiting for Lin Yu's judgment. In this world, force was power. Jiang Qingying had been defeated, Lu Yanqing had become Lin Yu's disciple, and Hong Binglu had been killed. The three tower masters had no one to rely on. These female disciples naturally became meat on the chopping board. The saber was in Lin Yu's hands. It was up to him to decide when to strike and who to kill. Qin Wunyan, if you give face to the earthly fire-burning pavilion today, I can let bygones be bygones. On the other side, the Archemperor, who had been seriously injured, shouted at Lin Yu. Although he had given up resisting, he still looked a little unconvinced. Face? Lin Yu pursed his lips. It's always others who give face to me. Chapter 611. It's always been people giving me face. With that, Lin Yu waved his hand. The people from the earthly fire heaven-burning pavilion stood there in shock as the 10 paragons slaughtered them. Not a single one was left alive. Even someone as strong as the Archemperor had been taken care of by Lin Yu. The combination talisman had already begun to devour him, and the Archemperor's energy had been sealed by the 10 paragons. How could he possibly fight back? It didn't take long for his cultivation base to be sucked dry. Everyone watched as he died in the same way as Ling Chongfeng. Lin Yu killed people, but he didn't torture them. Therefore, he gave the people from the earthly fire heaven-burning pavilion a quick death. However, his expression was calm, as if the lives of these people were nothing more than ants in his eyes. In fact, it could even be said that they weren't even ants. After dealing with Jiang Qingying and the people from the earthly fire heaven-burning pavilion, Lin Yu could see that little Mimi's injuries were getting better. She could now move about normally. Of course, her other injuries would take some time to heal. Lin Yu didn't plan to use the space-time reset to return her to her peak. Little Mimi's cultivation base was already at the peak of the half-step paragon level. She was just one step away from becoming a true paragon. Her injuries were both harmful to her. Lin Yu did not intend to directly remove it for her since it would hurt her, but it was also a form of growth. Everyone here, Lin Yu said coolly, wrapping his arm around little Mimi. The two of them looked down at the people below. The people from the Moonlight Stepping Pavilion didn't dare to look up. As for the people from the smaller sects, even if they didn't belong to the Moonlight Stepping Pavilion, they had all been killed by the earthly fire heaven-burning pavilion. Even Junior Sect Master Ling Chongfeng of the Heavenly Soul Sect was nothing more than a corpse in front of Lin Yu. Naturally, they didn't dare to move. Who hurt you? Lin Yu finished the latter half of his sentence. Instantly, many people in the Moonlight Stepping Pavilion began to tremble. Shockingly, some of them were the ones who had taken little Mimi's quintessence blood. Forget it. Little Mimi knew what Lin Yu meant. He was going to avenge her. However, she was worried about the bigger picture. We've just arrived and haven't gained a firm foothold yet. I'm fine. She grabbed Lin Yu's sleeve and said in a pleading tone. However, Lin Yu just smiled. No, you can't bully my people. If you don't want to talk about it one by one, I'll just kill all of you. As soon as he said this, everyone in Glazed Moon Treading Tower broke out in a cold sweat. Kill them all. They had fallen into the hands of a demon king who killed without batting an eyelid. No, little Mimi looked at Lin Yu worriedly. She was afraid that he would really kill everyone in Glazed Moon Treading Tower. Not only her, even Lu Yanqing who was below was shocked. She could feel it. Lin Yu wasn't joking. If it was Qin Wunyan's identity, perhaps others still found it hard to believe. However, Lu Yanqing knew that her master was someone that even Dao masters could not easily deal with. He was someone who could not be caught even if they issued a warrant for arrest in the Dao world. Lin Yu, such a big shot. What was so strange about destroying a sect? Very well, tell me. Lin Yu's tone was calm. Is it really okay? Little Mimi asked softly, still looking worried. In the Feng Yi Dao world, Lin Yu might already be a supreme existence. However, this was the Jade Silk Dao world. There were many supreme experts. There were also experts at the great Tharch realm of equalization holding down the fort. This place, it was not a place where Lin Yu could indulge as he wished. At least, that was what little Mimi thought. Of course, men are important, Lin Yu coughed dryly and said with a smile. What I mean is that the people of the Feng Yi Dao world are already 10,000 years slower than the people of the other Dao worlds. They lack the great Tharch realm of equalization's teachings. If they want to recover their strength to compete in the 10 great Dao worlds, they have to gain a foothold as soon as possible. After patting little Mimi's slim waist, Lin Yu reminded her again. You are the successor of Xidagarba and the master of the Feng Yi Dao world. All the more you can't be bullied like this. Little Mimi was stunned. During this period of time, she had only been thinking about how to protect the secret of the sky reflecting mirror. It was only when she was with Lin Yu that she recalled her identity and her pride. Lin Yu, you are the most suitable leader of the Feng Yi Dao world. Little Mimi said again. However, Lin Yu shook his head. My ambition does not lie here. It lies in a higher place. A higher place, little Mimi smiled knowingly. Needless to say, she could also sense Lin Yu's ambition. He was ambitious and capable. This was the most charming state of a man. I understand. Little Mimi pointed below at the female disciple who had taken her essence blood. Her, the people below who had been identified by her did not even have the chance to resist, as Lu Yanqing had already taken action. There was no need for Lin Yu's people to take action. This was the time for his disciple, Lu Yanqing, to show her sincerity and loyalty. Lin Yu did not say it clearly. However, just now, he had given Lu Yanqing enough time to react. The latter was not a fool and naturally understood what he meant. Second Tower Master, please spare my life. Countless disciples bowed their heads and kowtowed. However, in Lu Yanqing's opinion, it was already fortunate that Lin Yu did not kill all of them. There are also a few of them. They were on the battleship at that time and captured me. Little Mimi pointed at a few people again. She was shocked. She only wondered why Lu Yanqing would listen to Lin Yu so much. Little Mimi knew very well what kind of person Lu Yanqing was. She was only one step away from becoming a heavenly supreme and was the superior second tower master of the glazed moon stepping tower. However, the second tower master actually killed the disciple she had pointed at. She did not even have time to think. It was as if she was afraid that those who had died would say anything. No more. Little Mimi turned around and waited for Lin Yu's orders. You did well. Lin Yu nodded. He was not talking to little Mimi but to Lu Yanqing. This woman knew how to make a choice. He liked her. I will not let anyone who dares to hurt Master's wife off. Lu Yanqing waved her hand and snorted coldly. Little Mimi lowered her head. What Master's wife? You are spouting nonsense to others. She was rebuking Lin Yu. That was not what I said, Lin Yu wanted to explain, but he thought that it was better not to explain this kind of thing. Forget it. I believe that the rest of the people in the glazed moon stepping tower are innocent. I will leave the rest to Tower Master Lu. Lin Yu casually instructed the rest of the matters. That was enough. Lu Yanqing was more experienced than him in dealing with the aftermath of the glazed moon stepping tower. Yes, Master. Lu Yanqing cupped her fists. I have arranged a new residence for Master. Very good. Lin Yu nodded. Lu Yanqing immediately escorted Lin Yu to the interior of the glazed moon stepping tower. Everything here was more than 10 times more luxurious than outside. After all, the glazed moon stepping tower was extremely wealthy under the leadership of Jiang Qingying. The wealth of this sect was probably comparable to a dozen boundless moon kingdoms. Chapter 612. The 10 Great Supremes followed behind. Zhang Qingxue and Little Mimi stood on both sides. Lin Yu arrived at his new residence, and Lu Yanqing took her leave. Master, I'll come and practice with you after I'm done with other things. Lin Yu nodded and sent Lu Yanqing off. The 10 great supremes came up, and Zero seemed to have some problems. Emissary, should we deal with that feminine saber seal? Not now. Lin Yu shook his head and added, you might not be able to touch him. After listening, the 10 great supremes looked at each other and seemed to understand what Lin Yu meant. Emissary, it seems that our intuition is right. That kid isn't simple. The saber in his hand seems ordinary, but it's the first time I've seen such a powerful saber. Why are you so scared of an iron saber? Shut up. Zero snorted and bowed to Lin Yu. Emissary, since you can force that kid to retreat, you must know the origin of the saber? He couldn't hold back his curiosity. Lin Yu smiled helplessly. That's Saber Lord Gui Rulai's saber. What? Like I said, such a powerful saber technique must be related to Lord Sha Xian. That kid is Gui Rulai's successor. That emissary is right, we can't deal with him. Little Lord Gui Rulai has such a powerful saber intent without any cultivation. I wonder what level his cultivation has reached? Everyone looked at Lin Yu, but the latter shook his head. I don't know either. The 10 great supremes were disappointed, but even after leaving Lin Yu's palace, they didn't stop discussing. It seemed that for these famous old experts, their curiosity about the secrets of the universe was more interesting than cultivation. Master, will Dao Feng come back to trouble us again? Zhang Qingxue asked worriedly. He won't be. Lin Yu smiled. Just when he wanted to have a short moment with little Mimi, a voice came from outside. Zhang Qingxue and little Mimi went to check it out. They came back one after another. The people from the glazed moon treading tower have brought the heaven-reflecting mirror. Little Mimi reported and added, the 9-colored flame is still there. Burn it. I'll go take a look later. Little Mimi saw dozens of storage rings of various sizes on the table in front of Lin Yu. These storage rings were all different in appearance and size. Obviously, they were taken from different people. Lin Yu was putting all the things in the storage rings into his own storage ring. A large amount of dazzling bought, even though it was rapidly being transferred between the rings, it was difficult to conceal the astonishing radiance. These were all snatched by Master. Zhang Qingxue said to little Mimi. While Lin Yu was counting his recent wealth, she took the initiative to get to know little Mimi better. In addition, the 10 great supremes were incompatible with them. Little Mimi was able to converse with Zhang Qingxue. It's only 10 trillion dazzling bought, but it's enough for a while. Lin Yu waved his hand casually, and a pill appeared in front of little Mimi. When your injuries are healed, take this. It'll help you break through to the Supreme Being realm. This, little Mimi took the pill and smelled the fragrance of the pill. A stream of light flowed slowly on the pill. The stream of light was restrained, but little Mimi could still see it. It was a restrained Supreme Being intent. Could this be? Zhang Qingxue gasped. I've seen it in the records of the vast Moon Dynasty. Master, is this the Supreme Being pill? It's rumored that the Supreme Being pill can help a half-step Supreme Being to comprehend the complete Supreme Being intent. Is that true? That's right. Lin Yu nodded. It's not something powerful. It's only useful for half-step Supreme Beings. Zhang Qingxue was stunned. The Supreme Being pill could only be encountered by chance. Its preciousness was second only to the 9 luminaries' golden pill. But now, Lin Yu said it was not something powerful. This was too terrifying. This thing was fatally attractive to half-step Supreme Beings. Why don't you take it yourself? Even little Mimi blinked. She had never seen the Supreme Being pill before, but with her intelligence, how could she not know how precious it was? I don't need that thing, Lin Yu thought. If he had another Supreme Being soul in his hands, he would have a chance to cultivate the perfect Supreme Being intent. Naturally, he did not need the Supreme Being pill. Unfortunately, if he wanted to obtain a Supreme Being soul of the same quality as the Supreme Being blood, meridian, and bone in his hands, he would have to search for more. Experts whose Supreme Being souls had reached the Supreme Being realm could not meet Lin Yu's requirement. Even if such experts died in front of him, their Supreme Being souls were worthless to Lin Yu. Seeing that Lin Yu had made up his mind, little Mimi could only carefully keep the Supreme Being pill. This was a gift from Lin Yu. At the side, Zhang Qingxue also looked at him enviously. Master was really good to her. However, Zhang Qingxue would not be so ignorant as to take the initiative to ask Lin Yu for a gift. That would only make him hate her. Master, Miss Mo Xianxian from the Tianhun sect is here. Let her in, Lin Yu said. Little Mimi knew that Lin Yu's luck with women was good, so she tactfully bowed and left. Wait for me in the room, Lin Yu said. His words made little Mimi stop in her track. A burning sensation spread from her neck to her cheeks. Whoosh! Little Mimi's face was flushed red as she walked back to her room. Master, I'll take my leave too. Zhang Qingxue cupped her fists and bid farewell. But at this time, Lin Yu threw out the second pill. This is your gift, Lin Yu said indifferently. Zhang Qingxue looked at the pill in her hand. Although it was not as precious as the Supreme Pill, it could allow her to break through to the third heaven. It was the Law Pill. Before consuming it, circulate the harmonization technique I taught you 3 times. It will allow you to comprehend a stronger law realm. Disciple thanks Master. Zhang Qingxue knelt down and kowtowed. Her heart was warm. Lin Yu had the 9 luminaries golden pill, so he naturally did not care about ordinary law pills. However, these pills were useless to Lin Yu. They were only found in the spoils of war after tricking the people from the Tianhun sect, the 7 Fiends Hall, and the Earth Fire Heaven Burning Pavilion. However, Lin Yu's casual action was equivalent to giving Zhang Qingxue and little Mimi a chance. You may leave. After Lin Yu said that, Zhang Qingxue left the room. At this time, Mo Xianxian came in with her head lowered. Mo Xianxian from the Tianhun sect greets young Master Qin. She first bowed and then said apologetically, I hope young Master Qin won't blame me for what happened to the young master. The people from the Tianhun sect should be here to settle the score with me. After all, I killed your young master. Lin Yu tidied up the storage rings in front of him. With Mo Xianxian's observation skills, she naturally saw it. But now, in her world view, Lin Yu's storage rings were different from the storage rings of others. Chapter 6:13. You can covet other people's storage rings. However, Lin Yu's storage ring was different. From the moment Lin Yu obtained the 9 luminaries golden pill until now, those who coveted his storage ring were all dead. Mo Xianxian immediately lowered her head. She didn't even dare to take another look. Lin Yu's storage ring had already become a shadow in her heart. We have a prior agreement with young Master Qin. This time, our Tianhun sect was in the wrong for sneak attacking young Master Qin. Interesting. Ling Chongfeng has wanted you for a long time. He died in my hands. Don't you hate me at all? Lin Yu smiled. He already knew the answer in his heart. The ending of a bootlicker was that most bootlickers would end up with nothing. As expected. Mo Xianxian snorted. Our young master did something wrong and almost killed young master. No matter how you look at it, it's our young master's fault. How would I dare to blame young master? Seeing Lin Yu's indifferent expression, Mo Xianxian thought that he was angry. She quickly explained, My agreement with young master is absolutely sincere. I will report the matter to Tianhun sect, but women just like to stammer. Go on. Lin Yu finished counting his spoils of war and kept them. He then looked at the teapot on the table. But I don't have much authority in Tianhun sect. The one who died this time is our young master. I'm worried. Mo Xianxian consciously went forward and poured a cup of tea for Lin Yu, if the people of Tianhun sect find trouble with young Master Qin, please don't blame me. That wasn't my intention. Lin Yu's lips curled up. He grabbed Emo Xianxian's waist and pulled her over to sit on his lap. But Emo Xianxian cried out in pain, "Young master, be gentle. This is your punishment for not being honest." Lin Yu smiled faintly. "I helped you get rid of Ling Chongfeng, so the person who benefited the most is you. I'm afraid that even if the Heavenly Soul Sect Master is unwilling, the future Heavenly Soul Sect will definitely fall into your hands." Lin Yu mercilessly slapped Emo Xianxian's body once again and said, "You're really ruthless. Ling Chongfeng deserved to die, but if you say that it wasn't your intention, the Tianhun sect might deal with me. Do you really want to stay out of this?" Emo Xianxian was embarrassed by Lin Yu's words. "Sir Qin, please don't blame me. I will do my best to prevent the Tianhun sect from finding trouble with you." "You're treating me so well?" The corners of Lin Yu's mouth curled up. He exerted force in his hands and did not hold back at all. Emo Xianxian's breathing quickened. This was the first time she was touched by a man like this. However, he did not know why. She was no longer as resistant to men as she used to be. "I only hope that when Sir reaches the peak in the future, you won't forget how good I am." Emo Xianxian sank into Lin Yu's embrace, but her head was directly pressed down by Lin Yu. 6 hours later. Lin Yu activated his space-time value and continuously reset the last 10 seconds. After struggling for a few minutes, Emo Xianxian was finally released by Lin Yu. Emo Xianxian's hair was a little messy. She coughed a few times as if she wanted to spit something out. "You're not allowed to." Lin Yu's cold voice sounded. Emo Xianxian felt as if she had fallen into an ice cellar. She did not expect that the man she served for the first time would treat her so coldly. The sound of swallowing could be heard. Lin Yu passed a cup of tea to Emo Xianxian. "I don't like women having dirty thoughts about me." The smell that belonged to Lin Yu assailed her nose. Emo Xianxian received the teacup and bowed to thank him. It was as if the two of them had just done it in a dream. Right now, Emo Xianxian was still facing the young overlord who had taken over the glazed moon stepping tower. She felt a chill down her spine. "I don't understand Sir's words." Lin Yu took a sip of tea. "If I can take over the glazed moon stepping tower, it means that the Tianhun sect is nothing in my eyes. You should know this. Hence, even if you don't plead for me, the Tianhun sect won't dare to touch me." The last sentence was naturally Emo Xianxian's plea for Lin Yu. If she didn't make things clear now, if the Tianhun sect didn't dare to find Lin Yu for revenge in the future, it would be Emo Xianxian's credit. "That was the second punishment for you. I don't like to owe people favors. Do you understand?" Only now did Emo Xianxian know that she had made a stupid mistake. "I won't do it again in the future. You can leave. If the Tianhun sect wants to come, you don't have to stop them. You just have to report the matter of Ling Chongfeng truthfully." After taking over the powerful glazed moon stepping tower, Lin Yu's strength was obvious to all. As for Ling Chongfeng's death, the Tianhun sect could only swallow this anger. Lin Yu said calmly. He then added, "As for the 9 luminaries golden pill, do I need to say anything more? I understand. Young master has broken the partnership. Sir naturally doesn't owe us anything for the 9 luminaries golden pill. If she still dared to ask for the 9 luminaries golden pill, she would be courting death." On the other hand, Ling Chongfeng was dead. Emo Xianxian was confident that she would be valued by the Tianhun sect. That 9 luminaries golden pill, in fact, didn't make much of a difference to her. Just as Lin Yu had seen through, she was the one who benefited the most from Ling Chongfeng's death. Therefore, Emo Xianxian's act of wanting Lin Yu to owe her a favor even though she had taken advantage of Lin Yu just now was the reason why Lin Yu punished her. "I'll take my leave first. I hope that Sir won't anger me the next time we meet." Emo Xianxian tactfully took her leave. As for Lin Yu, he didn't care at all. The comfortable 7 or 8 resets just now was enough for him to let Emociencien go. After leaving the bedroom, Lin Yu came to the open space outside the bedroom. This place was guarded by the people sent by Lu Yanqing. In the middle of the open space was the altar that held the heaven-reflecting mirror. The 9-colored flame burned fiercely. Lin Yu stood with his hands behind his back and observed the changes in the heaven-reflecting mirror. The shattered mirror surface seems to have been repaired quite a bit. It's a pity that it's still lacking something to be perfectly restored. Even when he was at the 3rd heaven of the Law Realm, he wasn't in the peak state of the heaven-reflecting mirror. After all, this was a complete divine object. Compared to the Nirvana fruit, the power of the fusion rune was several times stronger. It was just that during the imperial era of the Feng Yi Dao world, the heaven-reflecting mirror had lost a lot of power due to the War of the 9 Emperors. Coupled with the desire to transform into a human, the original power of the divine object was much weaker. In the final battle between Lin Yu and Lin Xiu, the heaven-reflecting mirror was also injured after defeating Lin Xiu. But even so, the heaven-reflecting mirror couldn't be damaged by the 9-colored flame. Instead, under the tempering of the 9-colored flame, Jiang Qingying thought that she could use it to open the inner world of the heaven-reflecting mirror. Unfortunately, the 9-colored flame became Lin Xiu's nourishment. The Jade Silk Dao world only has 9-colored flame at most. If there's a chance, I'll go to the Jade Falling Dao world to get the 10-colored Golden Crow Fire Seed for you. Maybe you can transform into a human again. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.